Pentagon war planners have rightfully said that 90% of modern warfare is informational. That's why it's more important than ever that all of you watching subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Real Alex Jones, because Infowars is the front line of the fight. And without your help and support, we will fail. With your support and with your prayers, we will be victorious against the globalists together. Well, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's either America's brightest hour or we're going into this republic's darkest hour. Thank you so much for joining us on this worldwide global transmission. Already Wednesday, July 26, 2017. You know why they hate me? You know why they now have an entire new Comedy Central show with Deadline Hollywood and Variety having the headline, New Comedy Central Show to air nightly, to be based on Alex Jones, with their comedian, quote, playing the part of Alex Jones. And they will say things and do things every night that I haven't said or I haven't done to create branding with the type of mentally retarded people that believe and watch their channel. And again, I'm not making fun of real people that are mentally retarded. I'm talking about people that have been induced into these comas. They will then simultaneously have news headlines saying that I'm delusional when I criticize it, and they'll say it's not based on me, just like Homeland and all the other programs or Tuck Bugford. Now, why are they doing this? Because they are scared of the very specifics I'm breaking down. The reason I point that out is people need to understand we have their plan, we know their plan, and they just want you to never look at the plan so that they can basically have air superiority politically. And that's why you notice, you see the former CIA director that told President Trump 2 days before he was inaugurated to watch his mouth. To watch his mouth. Now, he's telling the American people and the voters to watch their mouths. This same globalist operative, you cannot make this up, who lived for 12 years in Saudi Arabia and who worked with the former FBI director to take radical Islam off the FBI's training list, where they couldn't even use the term radical Islam, this creature has come out and called for a coup. Now, that's him saying a coup. That's a military overthrow, because he knows that the American people are awake. He knows the Republicans are going to win the House next year again. All the demographics show it, all the numbers, all the actuaries, all the bots, all the AI. It shows a total realignment. A total realignment. People get that Trump's our figurehead. They get he's not perfect, but they get that they're targeting him to bring us all down. And people get he's a champion, and he's gotten so much done, it brings tears to my eyes, quite frankly. This is so epic, so real. We've gone from such betrayal, such fakeness, such garbage, to him battling like a lion with hundreds of mangy hyenas biting him at every level. And we're sitting there like spectators bitching that, oh, where's my tax cut? Where's my Obamacare repeal? When he's already killed everything else he could with executive order and executive action and courage, and has them openly saying, kill him everywhere. Oh, and of course, get me, destroy me, kill me, put me in prison, and go after everybody else. You notice a lot of other folks are getting intimidated right now. They're kind of pulling back, not being as hardcore. People are hedging their bets. You don't hedge your bets with this. You hedge your bets, we lose everything. I've been hammering that they're planning a coup since the day he was elected. And I laid out exactly what they do, because I know how the system works. I know how they would do it. I know how they've done it in other countries and what they've set up here. So it's not, see, I told you so. We're the opposite of fake news. We're super hardcore, on target news and information. And that's why they're so scared. There's an old saying, he's got your number, or they've got your number. We've got their number. Having somebody's number means you got their address, you know their shoe size, you know how tall they are, you know what they eat in their cornflakes, you know how big their ding-ding is, you know who their mommy was with. We got their number. Our big victory is that we're willing to be criticized and being attacked for saying things first that are shocking and controversial like there are plans to use continuity of government systems that are in place in case the government's decapitated from a nuclear attack to basically overthrow Trump and the duly elected government. Now, we knew that that would be their attack profile, and then we began to see them start promoting it in the Financial Times of London, New Yorker Magazine, Foreign Affairs, Public Affairs, and, of course, Atlantic Monthly in the last 4 months. Now, we have Clapper coming out yesterday, the same guy that said Trump should watch his mouth and then was shocked when Trump fired him, saying that there should be a coup against Trump. But first, let's play a boil down of the last month of Sean Hannity and Lou Dobbs and others saying point blank there's a clear and present danger and an ongoing plan to overthrow the president. And then, of course, the Washington Post came out and said, oh, Hannity is in Alex Jones territory. He's a kook. He's a loon. Okay, you guys are in major newspapers and magazines, but they are elite publications, point blank saying we've got our people in the deep state. It's time to overthrow Trump. Suddenly, physically. We're talking serious crime they're talking about here. And then they plan to shut down the independent media. They plan to go and say all the Republicans that got elected in the last Congress are going to be removed or subject to a new election that federalized, Democrat-run Homeland Security oversees. We'll be like Venezuela. We'll never have a real election again. This is happening. I said it first because I knew we had to say it, and now you notice they're in the news saying it. So I wasn't wrong. Sean Hannity wasn't wrong. Lou Dobbs wasn't wrong. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, wasn't wrong. We're telling you word for word what they're doing. And again, I keep saying I told you first because they've got shows every day attacking me. They got programs lying about us every day because they have to destroy us politically because we're on target. The good news is the more people realize I'm right, and the more now Rush Limbaugh basically listens to the show or has his folks do it and goes and checks out what I say and then looks it up for himself and then goes on air and says the exact same thing. That's how I protect my family. I don't want to be the only guy out here knocking grand slams every day, okay? I want everybody to wake up, people to understand the game, understand how the scam works, and then it's game over. I want to win. I want to be made obsolete. Do you understand? I do not want to be the cutting edge, tip of the spear. That's how we get killed. That's how we get shut down, and they win. I must be made obsolete to win. I want to be obsolete. Now, at this point, I'm not obsolete. I am the cutting edge, as I've been for 20 years, okay? We are, and I've been learning for 20 years. Now we are cutting edge. We are very cutting edge, and that's why they hate us. It's why they have a whole new Comedy Central show coming out where they say it's based on me, just like Colbert was supposed to be Bill O'Reilly. Okay, word for word, a show every night saying, I'm Alex Jones, and I hate this, I hate that, total lies. I'm not even going to say what they're going to say. We know what they're going to say. They'll take that out of context. This is what they're doing to lie to you and to lie to the American people. But let's play a short boil down of the last few months of folks talking about the coup plan. Now, the former head of the CIA that told Trump to watch his mouth 2 days before Trump got inaugurated, he got shocked when 3 days after Trump was in office, he fired him. This guy worked to have the Arab Spring and turn the Middle East over to Wahhabist. This guy lived in Saudi Arabia for 12 years. People thought it was some cover that he went and became a Muslim. He did go to the ceremonies. He did become a Muslim in the mosque of the Saudi royal family. And folks said, oh, that's just a CIA guy doing that as, you know, as just infiltrate. No, he went native. They've got all the money. He is absolutely, probably wipes his hand, you know, wipes his butt with his left hand, something, you know, we're all big fans of around here. I'm serious. I mean, he probably, you know, probably has a Somali bride. The whole point is we love our Somalis. We love our Muslims too. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet. And I'm not putting up with it anymore. I used to hear there was this big double cross coming 20 years ago from the Muslims that the left was going to side with them. And I said, there's no way. They throw gays off buildings. They murder people. Women can't drive cars. And then the leftist media won't cover. I'm going to play this clip today. Women burning their hijabs all over Iraq, all over the Middle East. And they're linking to Infowars stories. They're saying we want feminists to stand up for us. We want women in America to stand up for us. They hear myself and Bill Maher, to his credit, and many others saying, look, you can't sit there and claim you're feminist or for women and then have USA Today say wear a hijab for solidarity with women and have Linda Sarsour, who's into genital mutilation and, you know, never criticizes the enslavement and murder of women and gays and all the rest of it, being the leader of the feminist movement. This is sick mental illness. And there's no feminist or no liberal groups going, oh, look, women are burning their burqas and their hijabs in liberated areas of Iraq and Syria, in areas where they never had to wear them before. They got overrun and enslaved and raped. No coverage of that on CNN by that little CIA twit, Anderson Cooper, or any of these people. And Anderson Cooper is a perfect example. They'll go, Jones is crazy and says he's CIA. He's admittedly CIA. He was in the CIA. He's always been in it. What do you think CNN is? It's a bunch of leftist foundation people that have taken control of the CIA, basically, and all, because they all want to be like tough guys, so they all like want their little CIA decoder ring or whatever. Most of them can't even literally, you know, tie their own shoelaces. They're such inbred blue bloods, and you've got all that happening, and they go, oh, he's not CIA, like you're an idiot and can't look it up. Or, oh, Jones is crazy. There's no coup plan. No, you just tried to steal the nomination from Trump. Then you tried to have faithless electors to steal the seating of him. Then you've been calling for his death, his murder, his overthrow, and then have people shopping at former deputy defense secretaries are in foreign affairs shopping it at the Pentagon of how to overthrow Trump. They're walking around in offices saying we should have a military overthrow, trying to legitimize it. I mean, that woman doing that should have been grabbed and tried immediately, or at that level been given, I mean, I'm just telling you what would happen in any other country. She gets cement shoes, you know, walking around at the Pentagon saying we need to overthrow Trump in a violent operation. I mean, these people they want violence. They're openly saying they want to arrest everybody, shut down the press. They want me dead. And then they're shocked when I'm up here saying, okay, well, we better have Trump get the public ready to arrest these people. It's only like 1,000 of them. Give them trials and then put them in prison or teach people a lesson. I mean, I'm the opposite of a fascist, ladies and gentlemen. These are the fascists. They have to be dealt with just like Nuremberg. We don't have to go there and have a whole war with these people in a hot civil war via their coups or attempted coups to learn this. We're right. We've been proven right. Everybody needs to understand it. We know what we're talking about, period. And the debate is over. You have this globalist weasel, Clapper, who is a literal Islamicist turd, who is a traitor against this country, so arrogant, he's running his mouth and is allied with the globalists to open the borders of Europe up, bring in 80% military-age men, 10 million, to just piss on everybody and announce your homes are ours, your women are ours, and we've got Merkel and Clapper and all these and another Muslim globalist, Obama and his snapping turtle wife telling our kids what to eat in schools. I mean, we're in a giant cult here. And so we got Clapper on CNN with Wolf Blitzer, who, again, is an admitted Israeli intelligence operative. And I'm not against Israel, but he's a big leftist, known Mossad operative, formerly a section chief for Israeli intelligence. Yes, I'm telling you something that's quasi-classified, but it's known that he worked for Israeli intelligence. He didn't just work for the IDF's PR firm. Wolf Blitzer is a foreign agent up there with another Muslim agent. I'm going to throw up, man. All of them want to break America's back because they know they're foreign agents. And I've had it with the Chinese foreign agents and the Islamicist foreign agents and the EU foreign agents and the pedophile Pope and their foreign agents. And okay, I'm ranting. Let me just play Clapper in the interest of time. We got Owen Schroyer here riding shotgun with us today. We have the pastor coming on, big national pastor, Mr. Brown, friends with Trump, led the prayer meeting a few weeks ago with Trump, who met with the top congressman, Republican, who said, yeah, no, they've got the plan. They're getting it ready to have a coup. In the next 30 days, they're planning to do it. And then notice Clapper's on CNN going, it's time to have a coup against Trump. I mean, you know, he's telling you it's time to have a coup. It's up on Infowars.com. Let's go ahead and play the 1 minute, 10-second clip of everything I told you coming out in the open. And they come out in the open to normalize it. You say, well, they want surprise. No, they don't. They need to carry it out and have everyone go along with it. That means blow up Marine One when he's flying in it. That means having, quote, terrorists attack Air Force One on the tarmac. That means just SWAT teaming him, you know, just firing rockets into the White House. I mean, quite frankly, Trump shouldn't even be in the White House right now. He should go to Fort Meade, or he should go to Cheyenne Mountain, or he should be in an arm and point all this out and put, tanks and helicopters around it and point out what they've done until they're all arrested, shouldn't even come out of a bunker. I'm serious. They've got groups that's why they keep selling this Russia thing, because they want to get groups in the government to believe he's really a Russian agent so they can get enough idiots ready to actually try this mission. I mean, can you imagine how dumb this mission's going to be? Because we're here exposing it from the very beginning. We're not just going to have them sell it to the American people and go try it, especially because I'm next in line downhill from this, okay? This is personal. And by the way, all of you that claim you want to fight the New World Order, this is it. But you all just expect it was going to take over and you'd have a shootout with some UN troops or something. That's not how this works. We started taking the government back. We're trying to save the country because we love our country, not because we're heroes, because we're not going to put up with a bunch of globalist turds like Madeleine Albright and Michael Moore ruling us. Let's skip this break. This is too important. Skip this one break. No, they give the network hell about it, but you know what? If the network doesn't like it, I'm just going to have to move on, because I just, our stations, we're going to a new clock starting, in like a month. The clock everybody wants. There's going to be less ads, but we're going to come in at 6 after, so I'm excited about all that. But right now, here it is. Here is Clapper. Hey, guess what, Radio Network? There won't be a show if they win and take over. See how that works? It's called Life and Death. I love GCN. They're great folks. I'm going to skip one break today, though. Let's go ahead and let's play the clip from L. Clapper.
But this is where the work of Robert Mueller is critical to our future as a country, because in some respects, we're a government and a nation in crisis right now.
You have confidence in this special counsel?
Absolutely.
You both worked with him for a long time when he was head of the FBI.
Absolutely. That was an inspired choice.
They don't come any better.
And nobody better than Bob Mueller, who is a straight shooter and will not be intimidated by anything.
And if he's fired by Mr. Trump, or is attempted to be fired by Mr. Trump, I really hope that our members of Congress, our elected representatives, are going to stand up and say enough is enough, and stop making apologies and excuses for things that are happening that really flout, I think, our system of laws and government here.
When you say enough is enough, if he's fired, and he's the president of the United States, he could tell Rosenstein to fire him if he wants. But if he's fired, what would you want Congress to do?
Well, first of all, I think it's the obligation of some executive branch officials to refuse to carry out some of these orders that, again, are inconsistent with what this country is all about. But I would just hope that this is not going to be a partisan issue, that Republicans and Democrats are going to see that the future of this country is at stake, and there needs to be some things done for the good of the future.
That's Brennan. He's also up there with Clapper, who told you there's no spy on the American people. It's all conspiracy theory. Perjured himself in Congress. And they think these guys are the co-presidents along with Mueller. In fact, even CNN and others have said, here's really who leads the country. It's Brennan, it's Clapper, and it's Mueller. And they're worshiping Comey, this Clinton appointee, this Obama appointee, this incredibly corrupt minion who 99.8% of their donations from Mueller's law firm go to the Democrats and go to Hillary. And everyone they've appointed on Mueller's team other than Mueller is Democrat, and 2 of them were fired by Trump. That'd be like if I was in a divorce proceeding, or you were in a divorce proceeding, and let's say your husband was a judge, and then he's the family court judge, and you've got, say, 5 kids, and you go in, and then he's not going to recuse himself when it comes up that he's supposed to be the person hearing the case. Your husband hears his own divorce case. That's right. And that's what this is. And they openly have Mueller's people out there shooting their mouth off in the news and then using NSA data transcripts that they've had from the beginning of a few meetings when Russians are coming out of the woodwork, where the Trumps are meeting with Russians to try to get dirt on Hillary, who's known to have the Russians all in her business. So think about that. They think you're so incredibly stupid. And then they say, oh, we never spied. Remember back in a few months ago, there was a big controversy. Trump's a liar. Trump's crazy. No one ever spied on him. The NSA never spied on him or anybody. When they'd been in the news saying we have NSA transcripts proving all this, but wouldn't show them because they didn't really show what they said. Then they go, oh, no, we never did that. Now they're back again. Oh, we do have all the intercepts, and we were spying on them, but it's no big deal. Just like they have the Comey memo showing that Comey had done all this. Oh, excuse me, Freudian slip. They had the Comey memo where he illegally didn't give it to the Attorney General at the time, Loretta Lynch, and then Jeff Sessions, where he held on to it, obviously for blackmail. It was a classified memo, obviously a conversation with the president in private. He said it wasn't classified and perjured himself to Congress. Then he tried to hold it over the president's head, but the president bluffed him and said, we may have recordings. So he changed his story over and over again. And then meanwhile, we know he was the main leaker, and he admitted to being the leaker because he knew that Trump knew, because now that he was the president, he was able to have people go in and look at the NSA and see what they were up to and what they were doing. But because it's classified, he won't talk about it and defend himself. So that's how this whole wicked web that they've woven traverses this situation. And you have these arrogant, entitled, crazy people that are so arrogant that a newly elected president, about to be sworn in 2 days, you go on national TV and you say, you better watch your mouth. And then Schumer scrabbles onto CNN the day after the president's sworn in and says the president better watch out. The intelligence community has 7 ways to Sunday to get even with you. But then they go, oh, we're not getting even. Intelligence agencies aren't doing anything. We just have all these intercepts. But just like Comey said the memo had all this dirt, when he finally had to produce it to Congress in secret, it didn't have anything in it, and it was word for word what Trump had ever said. According to Congress, we don't know. It probably said that Trump, was evil and tried to buy him off, but he'd already testified that that hadn't happened on February 3rd, so then he couldn't perjure himself. See, Trump's got him caught on so many fronts, and they realize that, and so here's the $64 trillion answer. They're desperate. They're losing. They've lost control of the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. They've lost control of 30-plus state houses. They've lost control of close to 1,000 state reps. They've lost control of many of the mayors. Right now, the country, electorally, is about 70% Republican. That's why you look at a map, everything's blue, but a few red spots on the east and west coast and a few areas in Minnesota and Wisconsin and Chicago. And all of those are the high crime areas. All of those are the globalist areas that are under their big city control. Very, very sad. And they understand that existentially there's an awakening and that they're losing control and that they're not going to be able to teach your 5-year-old, how to be a tranny. And they're not going to be able to have the military wear red high heels. And they're not going to be able to bring in 50 million Muslims that'll be our bosses and be the CPS workers of the new police like they are in Germany. They understand their plan to kind of have their way with us, because that's the big goal, is to have this existential victory over everybody, this giant season of the cuck, this giant beta orgy. That's what communism and these authoritarian things are, is people that don't want to build things or do things or create things or fight for things. They just get together in big swarms and then come in and try to pull everything down as some simulated victory. It's what's going on in Venezuela. It's what's happening in North Korea. It's what's happening in many, many areas of the world. But all over the planet, countries are coming out of these cycles and experiencing these hells. And because of travel and the internet, the general public knows that globalism is a fraud. They know that globalism doesn't produce. They know it's designed to get people into poverty, and they're rejecting it across the board. So when we come back, I'm going to play that boil down of other big TV hosts and analysts saying they want a coup. But see, we don't need them anymore, do we, to say, oh, look, I'm right. We have Clapper, former head of all 17 agencies, and then you've got the former CIA director, Brennan, running his mouth saying we need Republicans and Democrats to come together bipartisanly and just agree we need to remove Trump. That's the talking point. But they think Congress is so dumb, and a lot of them are just lazy narcissists that got hired, that they're not even reading Foreign Affairs, Public Affairs, and Atlantic Monthly, which you really should read if you want to know, because the criminals can't help but brag. And they're in there going, we're going to have a whole new election run by Homeland Security, already under an executive order by Obama, and we're going to oversee and make sure that nothing ever happens again. Like what just happened in 2016. And we're going to have new elections and remove all these people because they all got elected illegally. They're not going to just sit there and let you go, oh, you're bipartisan, and we all agree to say, oh, Trump's an evil Nixon, and go along with it and all have another, phony consensus thing where we feel like we're part of the process, but we're really chump idiot morons. Leadership is doing the right thing when you see a wall telling you that you're wrong and a bunch of peer pressure telling you you're going to lose. I know we're going to win. We have the moral authority. We have history on our side. We have the facts. We have a strong president. We have history's tide on our side. But we become so peer pressure driven and so delusional, America could snap back into that delusion and buy into the hype and say, well, I was for Trump, but the Russia thing, and go along with it, especially if you see him get, killed in the middle of the night. Play along with that. If you do that, you deserve everything you get, because it's not going to give us any quarter then. They're going to come after everybody. So there's no more speculation. It's all confirmed. We can see the whole thing. A group of arrogant criminals, Brennan, Clapper, the Clintons, Chucky Schumer, Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, a bunch of doddering, arrogant sycophants in power so long, they thought Hillary was going to win and had hundreds of thousands of Madam President Newsweeks printed up. They knew Trump was 15 points ahead in all the internal polls, some of them higher. But they tried to steal the election that night, but state officials in 6 states in the South were there watching them, Homeland Security trying to break in live time, and to activate the computer programs they'd already put into the software to steal the election. Election officials in 5 states blocked it. They were not able to block it in some areas of the West. Trump won. They panicked, signed an executive order to federalize all elections. All 50 attorney generals, including Democrats in, 19 states, sent letters saying, don't do this. This breaks the federalist system of 1798. But they don't care. They're going ahead with it. They lost. They can't stand it. And you've got this group of criminals openly saying they want a military coup, a sudden removal of the president. Just 2 days ago, it's big national news that a top evangelical pastor that's Trump's friend, Mr. Brown, who's been in tyranny before, fled South Africa, as it collapsed, said he met with a senior congressman who said they're planning a violent coup soon, the armed removal of the president. Then he went and told 700 Club the details. The 700 Club taped it, but wouldn't air it out of fear. Because, again, people are scared. You better be scared of not being all in. We will win 100% if people just aren't cowards. Everyone should be scared of being cowards. Everyone should be scared of not being vocal right now and calling C-SPAN and shooting your own videos. If you've never been on YouTube, call your neighbor that knows how to get online. I don't care if you're 80 years old or 15. Go shoot a video saying, we don't want a coup against Trump. Imagine if our listeners, millions of them, all went and just shot videos saying, we don't want martial law, we don't want a coup, don't kill our president. Or if you just shot videos saying, pray for our president, and then explain why. If there were millions of YouTube videos, it would change the world, because it would flood YouTube, and many of the videos would get hundreds of thousands of views. Some would get millions of views. They would get hundreds of millions of views together, and just that type of mass action by you would derail everything they're doing. In fact, the new contest we announced for $20,000, we just paid out last week on the last one. It's almost a distraction, the song, and making jokes out of it and exposing Hillary and the whole martial law plan and the Islamic invasion. You do anything you want in the video, just remake the song, add new lyrics. I don't care. It's whatever's the best is going to win. $10,000 for one place, $5,000 for the other 2 places. So there's 3 prizes. There's like a first big prize, and there's 2 other sub prizes. We really should just not even have to pay for this. I just had money to make it exciting and to honor, folks to take action. It just makes it more fun. But everybody should be calling their local talk radio. They should be calling C-SPAN. That's why we've put together little videos that show all these major leaders admitting there's a plan for martial law, a plan to shut down the free press, a plan to kill Trump, a plan for a coup. That is sensational, and we just can't let them go around and normalize it and go, all reasonable Americans agree we've got to have a coup against the president, and if he refuses to go, it's going to have to be sudden, and it's not going to be pretty. We're going to have to kill the president. It's what they're talking about. It's liberal. We told him to shut his mouth. We told you, the voter, to shut your GD mouth. That's basically what they're saying. No blasphemy intended. That's what they're saying. They are damned to hell, and they want to damn us to hell. If somebody's trying to damn us to communist hell, it's not taking the Lord's name in vain when that's what they're doing. It's in vain to say GD just to say it because you stubbed your toe. When you're explaining that these people want to help us be damned to hell, that's what it is. A living hell under them with senile, insane, narcissistic Fruit Loops like Nancy Pelosi running around thinking you can't have guns and you can't have prosperity because she's going to run your life because she's worth $1 billion. And her husband's worth more. And when she got to Congress, the witch was worth nothing. She's never done anything in her life but suck off people and get biotech money and everything else. She's a witch. And she thinks she's better than you and your family, and she thinks she's won when she knows what planet she's on. And you're like, well, yeah, they're so pathetic. Why is it such an uphill battle? Because the public's still asleep. They're a little bit awake. They like being avant-garde. They like the raciness of Trump. They like the fact that it's kind of bad, and we're going up against MSM and being politically incorrect. It's kind of cute. That's getting him elected was cute. This is the real war now, ladies and gentlemen, with people allied with radical, hardcore Orthodox Islam who funded Islam to murder hundreds of thousands of Christians. That's a conservative number. And make millions of others flee and murder over 1 million non-radical Muslims, that is, heretic Muslims, that let their daughters go to school and drive cars and be doctors. They all got raped or killed. And then the invasion of Europe. These people hate us. They're allied with anything evil. It's their nature. And if you don't understand that they resonate towards trash, you think Michael Moore likes seeing strong, good-looking Americans with good-looking families that are successful and focused and have the light of goodness in their eyes? No. These people want to pull you down. Look at the Clintons. It's well known in psychology. They surround themselves with weird pedophiles and weird, the ugliest physical people they can that don't bathe. Mao Zedong didn't bathe either. That's a thing about these people. They don't like to smell good. It's just their psychology. They're trash. And so what are they going to do that they've made fun of me saying there's a coup plan and a martial law plan? Now that they're out there selling it, like we're just going to have them play the game of while they're getting ready for it to just go, oh, it doesn't exist? You just said you're planning it, but you patted me on the head and said it didn't exist, so I'm going to shut up now. So let's go ahead and play a compilation of some of the people that picked up my talking points word for word, that it's a clear and present danger. I love how the Washington Post went, look, Hannity's quoting Jones exactly. You don't think Hannity just went on air and said all that stuff word for word what I said because he just thought that up or his people put that in the teleprompter. My analysis of this is dead on and has been adopted by the White House. And I'm wanting Media Matters to pick it up. What are you going to do? As your own people call for the exact coup I exposed, and then now the White House has done an analysis and confirmed exactly what I said, and so they've obviously met with patriots, and now the warning's being put out? What, that I saw the British coming and I yelled it, and now the British are marching up the road, and you're going to go, oh, look, he said they were coming, and they are. He's a kook. But again, they play those mind games where it isn't about the substance, it's about being laughed at, because the average alone trendy, as the Facebook documents this year that came out showed, headline, Facebook targets lonely liberals, trendies. But if you read the documents, it actually, the Australian newspaper, the Australian, didn't get it completely right. The document's about making you fake liberal, making you alone, having fake bots that keep you alone, and then you go out with the bots and attack libertarians, conservatives, and you feel like you're winning because it's 10-to-1 bots ridiculing conservatives to make us feel little. We know it's Tokyo Rose, again, broadcasting that we failed, we've lost. In fact, I want to do a promo video that shows Tokyo Rose, the radio transmissions, saying, oh, GI, your wife's going to die. You're going to die. You'll never see her. We're beating you. Yes, even as Japan was falling, they were still saying it. Just like Baghdad Bob, 2003, the Iraqi Ministry of Information had, the troops are entering Baghdad. They're like 2 miles away. Bombs are going off behind him. You can see mushroom clouds like 2 miles behind. He's actually ducking a few times. We have defeated the Americans. They have been driven into Kuwait. They are nowhere here. The pigs have never. Baghdad Bob, they made comedy videos of him. That's what this is. That's what this is. But you know what? They've still got a bigger beachhead than Baghdad Bob did. That little island he was on. And so, to their audience, they are going to just laugh and go, oh, look, Jones said the chemicals are making the frogs have sexual problems. Doesn't matter if it's in thousands of publications, the Nature, Science, all of it, Smithsonian, Fish and Wildlife Service, doesn't matter. Just laugh and the people think, oh, look, we're back in junior high. The big cool kid, Stephen Colbert, pointed at me and laughed at me. They're Arrested Development. I feel sorry for them. They're the nerds. They always wanted to be in the in group. So college and all of it is about, oh, you're liberal now. You're a globalist now. You get here, you're anti-American, you're anti-Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you're anti-Christian, you're anti-white, even if you're white. This is your new culture. You're anti-West, you're anti-free market, you're for Che Guevara. Because they don't want you to have that birthright as an American, regardless of what color you are. They're stunting you. And people go, oh, I'm finally in the in crowd. Because they were never in the in crowd. And that's what it's all about. That's what Madison Avenue, and that's what Wall Street, and that's what the PR firms. It's all about making you feel disempowered until you buy into their culture. And so you think you're in the chosen group. When you're in a failure chump group, in all the WikiLeaks, Hillary goes, I'm so sick of our people. They're such basement dwelling with their parent baristas. Those are quotes. Just like Facebook says, we've got them. They're alone. We found if we can isolate them completely with algorithms, they will give us all their money and culturally will be under our full control. Same program in Europe, same program here, same program. And you see these desperate trendies, totally empty, 4 or 5 degrees, no future. And the bots are there isolating them. And the bots know the different substrata and who their friends are. And then we'll hit them with messages in the bots that will drive them away from friends they have on Facebook and Twitter that are real, who are more nationalistic or more alive, and who were just using Facebook as like an email system or a way to contact folks and knew it was a joke, but just had it as one more thing. This is all in there. And I've had, quote, friends and people who get in there with the bots attacking them, and then the few friends they've got are under the same bots because they're in the same kind of little re-education camp brainwashing center. This is what Facebook admits they are. And then they go, I just can't be involved with this Trump thing. You're a kook. You're nuts. I'm not happy. Everyone's against me online. All my friends are ridiculing me. And I look at them and I go, let's go look at these people. If you ever met these people, I go, look, this person just posted on hundreds of other profiles the same second. That's a bot. There are people managing this, but these are bots. Here's the news articles. And they go, no. And then they go and they join it and go, I'm no longer with Alex Jones. And they go, oh, we love you. And the bots all run in, all little fake avatar simulations. You're already in the matrix. You're already in the baby pool matrix. You're in there with a handful of real people who are totally insecure, who want to be given participation medals, participation trophies, and patted on the head. And in the cool group, they wait when the little nerd buses come in at the universities. This has been leaked. And they have psychological experts that go out and go, There's racism on campus. There's KKK. We've had crosses burned this week. Swastikas painted. Come into this dorm area, and they go, you're not safe at the college. You're here. You're here, and the college is like 60% minority. Nothing's ever really happened there. Everybody's being nice. Everybody's being trendy, whatever. And they go, we're going to put you through some debriefing, who your friends are. We're going to get you organized with us to stand up against the racism and the systemic evil. And you're so brainwashed in the new gang you've been put into, the new boot camp you've been put into, torn down, built back up, that 6 months later you're taking over the park and saying, no whites allowed, and saying, this weekend, no whites on campus. And then the only whites allowed are ones that say, I'm evil, I'm bad, I admit it. Cult, 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 cult. You're in a cult, and they love it. You know what the Infowars cult is? Rediscovering America, rediscovering freedom, rediscovering individualism, rediscovering prosperity, but realizing prosperity creates incredible decadence. And so that's the byproduct of it we've all got to deal with. So when we come back, I'm going to play Clapper one more time and then get Owen in here, who's riding shotgun with me when I'm on remote. He's been doing a great job with David Knight the last few days. But just briefly, we're under attack. We're under, secondarily, we are the main target. Trump's number one, Infowars is number two, because they understand we're figureheads, we're focal points to demonize you. If they can make us fall or make the public buy into our destruction, then they can buy into your destruction. It's an archetype now, like a tarot card, a symbol in the card deck, okay? And so it's bigger than me or Trump, or it's about you. We need your financial support now more than ever. And we also need you to wear Infowars T-shirts and Trump T-shirts in public. Now, if you go to a leftist part of town, they may attack you. And so if you want an excuse to defend yourself, that's fine. I'm not recommending it. But Infowars shirts in most areas will get lunch bought for you, or you'll meet like-minded people. But it's about community. It's about exercising it or losing it. Just like we exercise the Second Amendment, we've got to exercise the First. So get all the different CNN or terrorist shirts, CNN's fake news shirts. Infowars.com is real news on the back. Super Male Vitality is, again, about to sell out. So that sale's over, just like X2 is over, just like Brain Force did sell out. That's over, but I'm told more's coming in a few weeks. Super Female is basically the same formula, but it has one herb's weaker and one herb stronger. Okay? It works just as good in men. It's just has more of an aphrodisiac edge to it with the Super Female, just the way it's designed. It's amazing. It's high quality. People really love it. It is 57% off retail. And it's not because it hasn't been selling. It never sells as good as Super Male. It's just that I've never done something that's basically almost a lost leader. We make like $5 on it. I want to sell it at this price because I want women to experience it who've never done it. This is your time. But men, some men, including myself, like Super Female better than the Super Male system. Anthroplex is excellent as well. It's really strong, but it's powder form. It's not cold pressed, so it's less expensive. But at this price, it's the same price right now as Super Female. But Anthroplex is amazing. A lot of women like it as well. The point is, we market it towards men because that's the main market. It works both ways. But Super Female is just a different variety of Super Male, basically. Just like men and women are just different varieties of the same biological creature. But it's 57% off. Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver, 66% off. Strawberry Caveman, new in stock, 25% off. Caveman Combo with a chocolate and a strawberry, 25% off. Super Silver Package, 50% off. That's the electric toothbrush, the Colloidal Silver, Silver Bullet, and the Silver Bullet toothpaste. Pro Pure Traveler, 30% off. Alexa Pure Breeze L Filter, 25% off. And so much more. Giant specials. Free shipping is about to end. Infowarsstore.com and fund this operation. All right, Owen Schroyer is riding shotgun with us, and we need to celebrate the fact that we've been right about Obamacare, doubling and tripling prices to screw you over. We should be celebrating the fact that Trump's been turning the economy around and killing globalist operations. That's why they keep saying he's a failure and has got nothing done, because it's the opposite. We should be celebrating the fact that we were absolutely on target about their plan to try to steal the election from Trump, then to try to steal the actual seating by the electors on January 6th of this year, and trying to stop his inauguration, and trying to block people getting into it, and saying nobody was there, despite the fact that they showed footage before the gates were open. On and on and on. We should just keep hammering them as the enemy and the fraud and the stinking trash they are. And it's happening more and more with CNN being booed. I want to play a clip of this and then go to Owen Schroyer, but this is CNN at an event being booed everywhere they go. They are anathema. They literally, in their own memos and their own behind-the-scenes videos, admit they're there to lie to you. They're there to absolutely take us to war with other Christian nations. They are trash. They chose to be parasites. They chose to be bad guys. So then they recruit more and more people like that until it's just a cesspool. I was talking to a friend of mine about that, the fact, take like the military. One unit will be really great, hard-working, smart people. You'll have another unit that's a bunch of folks that can't even, tie their shoelaces. And it's because the bad people all get together over here and then basically take it easy, and the good people end up congealing over there. The globalists are trash. They literally hate you if you're smart, if you're good-looking, if you're successful, if you're a nice person. They're filth. They're bad people. They're mainly child molesters. And once you know that, and the deputy pope's getting busted, and all these others are getting, and Hastert and all the rest of it, you understand these are the type of people that don't just like to rape little kids. They like to strangle them to death. They like to scare them before they kill them. They like them to beg for money in the little cages. And all this is coming down. You could kill me and kill Trump. You're not stopping jack squat. And if all these people like Brennan and folks, just because they go over to Saudi Arabia and, get down on their knees in front of the king, we're going to beat you. You're already beaten. And I don't just say that rhetorically or for rhetoric. It's true. You beat yourself. You're filth. I understand why you crave power, because you're garbage. Here's CNN being identified.
I'm here this evening to cut through the fake news filter and to speak straight to the American people. Fake news. Fake news.
That's all Trump's got to do is identify the enemy. They're fake, they're the enemy, and then get its agenda done. And let me tell you the bad news. I'm going to come back with Owen Schroyer.
30 seconds.
I watched a lot of Fox News when I've been on vacation, and all their major shows, except for Hannity and a few others, bash the president now and go, he hadn't got anything done. That's okay. He says fake news. And it's all real backhanded, sideways attacks. It's 90% negative now from a real slimy Eddie Haskell level way. We're going to come back and go over all this and play the martial law clip where the former head of the CIA calls for a military coup. Yeah, no, he's calling for the president to get shot in the head. That's what a coup is. Or, thrown in prison. And, of course, what comes after that. They're going to end the free press. They're going to bring in web censorship. And, here's the next big story. While they do that, they're not going to really let me be quoted. They're going to block us on Facebook, Google, Twitter, more and more. While they have all these shows like Homeland, the new Comedy Central show, you name it, admittedly, the character's based on me doing horrible things in my name, saying they're Alex Jones. So they don't just gag me or try to. They then go out and misrepresent what I say and do. That's what little cowards do. But guess what? Only the little servile cowards still believe you. So be happy with your company. Listeners, we need your hopes, your prayers, your support. Spread the word, Infowars.com. But whatever you do, be heard, speak out now. Stay with us. Well. What are they going to do now when they're openly calling for a military coup against the president? They're openly calling for a shutdown of the free press. They're openly calling for a takeover of the internet. They're openly calling to get rid of our borders completely, or we're horrible, evil racists, but nobody else gets rid of their borders. They're openly calling for an accelerated Muslim invasion. And they've got Homeland, Comedy Central shows, Tuck Buckford. They've got shows on Showtime and HBO and movies coming out where people just start screaming all these horrible, horrible racist things and then saying, I learned it from Alex Jones. I mean, I won't even repeat the things they say because then they'll just take the clips out and edit it together. I saw an article on Friday out of Newsweek, last Friday, by this spook lady, and just a nobody, and she just had all these like 2-letter and 3-letter quotes, and then some of them weren't even quotes edited together. It just said, Jones is telling his listeners to go out and bleep more Democrats. And they're so deceptive. I mean, I should just be able to say my free speech that they said that, but I won't even say it because they'll edit that. I mean, they've gone all in. They are such scum. I mean, words don't describe what lying filth they are. And you read all these quotes, 3-letter and 2-letter quotes, and legally for themselves, they put quotes around them, and then they have more quotes. Let me tell you something. When you see 2 or 3 words with quotes, and then the next words are quotes, and they're trying to make you read it like somebody said it, like you're not literary, like you don't know English, they're cobbling it together. Just like if I said Jack went out and played golf with his dad, and boy, he killed it. You could edit that together to say Jack went out and killed his dad while playing golf. That's what they did. I mean, I went back and looked at the shows they talked about. It's like, we don't want violence. They want a shooting war. They killed 2 more cops this week. They're calling for more death. We need to hold our powder and keep waking people up politically. They're losing. We do not want to be violent. They want a civil war. Let's not give it to them. We're winning. That turns into I want violence. Owen Schroyer, what do you make of the period we're at? Because our credibility is going straight up like an Atlas rocket. While theirs is going in the toilet, they admit they know they're not going to be able to get Congress. They admit they can't get rid of Trump right now. So now they're saying, let's militarily overthrow him. Everybody needs to go along with this bipartisanly, and I guess hope that the coup group stops at that. Of course, they're not going to stop. Everybody's supposed to get scared of, oh, you're a coup group. Oh, some shadow government striking back. Let's all bow down to it with a bunch of weirdo, pervert-looking, FBI guys like Mueller and Comey, covering up for the pedophile rings, and Clapper, the Wahhabist, running around, and Brennan, the Wahhabist. Brennan, the Wahhabist. Clapper's just the big liar before Congress, saying there's no NSA spying on the American people. I mean, these are whack jobs, and they just are total losers. I don't see them pulling this coup and getting away with it, but they just can't help it. They're like a dog going back to their vomit, Owen.
Well, they have to attempt this coup because President Trump is willing to address real issues, which Washington, D.C. and the White House has been ignoring for years. Everybody freaking out about President Trump not wanting to put transgenders in the military. Well, that's a minor issue, okay? That's only a big issue to the Barack Obamas of Washington, D.C.
They're not giving their constituents anything real, so they give them taxpayer-paid-for, weenie chops.
Well, and here's the other thing that's been so refreshing about Trump, why he's endeared himself to America, is because he's willing to say the things that have been considered politically incorrect in the past, because he's willing to say things that the Washington establishment is not willing to say. And it's time for Congress to take that same approach to their work, Alex. I mean, it's amazing the things that Congress just completely ignores on the Hill. It's really sickening, to be honest with you.
Exactly. And again, they want to all just act establishment and stuff suit. The Democrats are trying to organize a violent coup. Yes, it's crazy. It sounds nuts to talk about it, but it's happening. So we've got to address it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. When you study the patterns of history and the signatures of Renaissance versus the signatures of degradation, entropy, and collapse, history does repeat. It also rhymes, as it's been said by many historians. And complacency and decadence is the #1 hallmark of the most brutal collapses into the underworld or into the Golgothic, Hades-like systems of the French Revolution or Communist China or Soviet Russia or so-called socialist Venezuela today. Because it's not about what you produce and do or what you stand for. It's about the fact that you are dishonorable and will work in those dishonorable groups to engage in predatory activities against your fellow citizens. And we're sitting here, myself included, very complacent. I should be calling Congress, panicking. I should be running down the street handing out flyers. I should have aircraft flying saying, coup against the president planned. But instead, I'm like, yeah, they're planning a coup in all these publications, and they have former Deputy Defense Secretary in the news making the rounds, making the case for a military intervention against the president. I told you about that before it was in the news. Then it was in the major publications that they're planning a COG overthrow of the president, and now they've got the Aspen Institute, a high-level kind of Bilderberg public event, Davos, type event out west in Colorado with Clapper, the former head of national security. That's over the 17 agencies. And then you've got the former head of the CIA who told the president better watch his mouth, running around saying, oh, it's very reasonable, bipartisan. It's just like you change a tire on your car. You pay your bills or wipe your nose or brush your teeth in the morning. It's very routine. We need to just remove the president with a coup if he removes Mueller, who's on the biggest fishing expedition of his life, of our lives, with all these Democrats, 2 of them which Trump fired. They give 99.8% of their money to Hillary. That's all over the news. And now it's to his whole family, all his businesses, all of the people in his campaign. They're using illegal NSA data to take non-events, like them looking for dirt on Hillary, and to make it these big, huge, evil things, or Senator Sessions talking to the Russian ambassador a few times, which he admitted to, which he's supposed to do on the Foreign Relations Committee. Pelosi said, I've never met with him. And turns out she met with him 30-plus times, photographed with him more than 10 times in the same year, 2016. Everybody knows it's the Russians have been up the Democrats' behinds. It's not the Republicans. And it is kind of payback from the Democrats from 50 years ago when the Republicans went after them for being in bed with the Russians when they were communists. So it's just absolutely wild to see this going on. And now you've got Brennan, former CIA director, at a meeting with Clapper, nodding his head and agreeing with Wolf Blitzer, sitting there, who's a foreign intelligence operative. He literally admitted he admittedly worked for Israeli intelligence. You think he still doesn't do it? I'm not against Israel, but imagine if Israeli TV hosts were CIA and everybody knew it, and then you're not supposed to talk about it because you're bashing Americans if you go, oh, that guy's a CIA guy. It's just what we put up with the Pope in our business, and the Saudi Arabians and the Chi-Coms and the EU and the bureaucrats, and like, get out of our lives, New World Order. So all of this is now happening. This is all admitted. What do we do to raise the alarm? What do we do to get attention? I'm going to tell the business owners something. We have a lot of great AM and FM affiliates that pick up our broadcast. And it gets ratings, but a lot of the big sponsors obviously are scared. If you keep continuing to be scared, we're going to lose everything. We got here because of people being scared and being politically correct. And they can always move the goalpost and make political correctness more and more and more until you can't use the words mother and father on entrance papers for your kids. Your kids call themselves purple penguins and don't call themselves he or she's. You allow cult-like brainwashing to go on because you don't want to hurt any feelings. You want to go home and watch TV. You want to go home and plug yourself into the Matrix. Why'd you even have kids? We need people to get aggressive in the face of this, and we need folks to, if you're business owners, don't wait for orders from headquarters. You should be putting billboards up everywhere about the plan to have a coup against Trump, the plan to overthrow America, the plan to take our guns, the plan. We're kicking their butt. That's going to cause them to have a all-or-nothing, battle of the bulge attack, a counterattack on us that you're now seeing them organize. And so, you notice Newsweek said, I'm calling for a violent coup. I want a civil war. No, I said they want a violent coup. They want a civil war. Trump and his Justice Department must move against the criminal preparations that are totally illegal, according to so many federal laws. It makes my head spin. To overthrow an elected president, to try to shut down the press, to have the CIA admittedly in Congress saying they want to shut down the independent media. All of this is illegal, and all of it's out of control, and the Russian and Chinese ties of the Democrats and the illegal servers and the stealing the Haitian money and the $12 million she got in Morocco from the king. We have to move against them on every front, politically exposing them as the criminals. They're trying to normalize military coup right now to try to do it, to try to get their people to follow the order to do it. Guaranteed, they've already been given orders to try to get a coup going in these rogue agencies. It had to happen. But they're trying to organize it, and they're trying to work with outside groups. And we're so wide open, ladies and gentlemen, they might get away with it. So I'm here to tell you, Trump needs to come out and address the nation. He needs to point this out. And then we need to see indictments of these people. We need to see Brennan and Clapper indicted for sedition, indicted for treason, indicted for multinational espionage. This corporate fraud's so big, they come in and take over your whole government and then try to get rid of your free press, get rid of your president, so they can keep selling the country out. So again, we need everybody to understand this is hardcore, this is real, this is happening, and the danger is not spreading the word. They want to just calmly start talking about, yeah, the cops deserve to get shot. Yeah, we need to burn down the cities, yeah, we need to, kill some of these governors. Yeah, Trump needs to die. We need to have the military overthrow him. Yeah, he's a Russian. Yeah, it's time for us bipartisanly to just it's no big deal. Hey, everybody be calm when this happens, and we don't want the country torn apart. They're trying to get the talking points out for when they drop a 2,000-pound bomb on Trump, turn the air defenses off, and have one of their crazies. They've already got picked out. Go in there. I'm telling you, folks, the sky's the limit. I bet they got pilots ready to get in Warthogs right now, somewhere in Virginia. You understand? The president needs to go in a bunker. He needs to declare this is going on. We're already in a civil war. They admit it. And here's Clapper. And here's Brennan on the stage calling for coup. Here it is.
But this is where the work of Robert Mueller is critical to our future as a country, because in some respects, we're a government and a nation in crisis right now.
You have confidence in this special counsel?
Absolutely.
You both worked with him for a long time when he was head of the FBI.
Absolutely. It was an inspired choice.
They don't come any better.
And nobody better than Bob Mueller, who is a straight shooter and will not be intimidated by anything.
And if he's fired by Mr. Trump, or is attempted to be fired by Mr. Trump, I really hope that our members of Congress, our elected representatives, are going to stand up and say enough is enough and stop making apologies and excuses for things that are happening that really flout, I think, our system of laws and government here.
When you say enough is enough, what will...
Enough is enough.
If he's fired, and he's the president of the United States, he could tell Rosenstein to fire him if he wants. But if he's fired, what would you want Congress to do?
Well, first of all, I think it's the obligation of some executive branch officials to refuse to carry out some of these orders that, again, are inconsistent with what this country is all about. But I would just hope that this is not going to be a partisan issue, that Republicans and Democrats are going to see that the future of this country is at stake, and there needs to be some things done for the good of the future.
So he wants an executive branch coup. And he's saying we've got McCain, we've got other people on board, the Republican leadership, to then call out the Freedom Caucus and the American Restoration groups. And notice, again, he tries to sell it like it's a good thing. They're the ones illegally spying on the Trump campaign and illegally fixing the polls and illegally fixing the questions for Hillary. They've all been caught. They're discredited. They have no evidence of this made-up Russia crap, other than the Trump's trying to find dirt on Hillary. Good. That's what we need. Trump said, give us the WikiLeaks emails if you got them. Said that on the stage. It's not hiding it. When we come back, Owen Schroyer's riding shotgun with us. I want to open the phones up as well, but this is a big deal. Please don't forget, we need your support and prayers now more than ever. Thank you for standing with us in this battle for the Republic. We have the initiative. We have the moral high ground. We're beginning to win, but the enemy is now counter-striking. We need your prayers today. The president needs your prayers around the clock. Please lift us up in prayer. We don't believe in it. We depend on it. We know it. It's beyond believing it. We know it. It's in my bones. It's in my gut. And we also have big sales. These are the biggest sales ever of Super Female Vitality. I just wanted to do it. 57% off. So that is a loss leader, almost a loss leader. Super Male is about to be sold out. Its special's over. It's at regular full price, but Super Female works great for men as well. Women, you really should try it. Libido, stamina, energy. And the more debilitated you've been, the more you'll feel it. 5-star reviews are in the thousands. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver, 66% off. Caveman in both flavors. Chocolate and strawberry, 25% off. Myco ZX, a giant 46% off. The amazing system to go after not just the bad bacteria, but the fungus and stuff in your guts. DNA Force, 20% off. Big sales on water filters, air purifiers, and more. They're all about to end. They have to end, and free shipping ends in a couple days. InfoWarsStore.com. Thanks for the support. These are the times that try men and women's souls, my friend. Thank you for joining us. we are at a historic crossroads. The Democratic Party is openly calling for martial law, a shutdown of free press, and the former CIA director, Brennan, on a stage with Wolf Blitzer and, of course, the former head of national intelligence as well, calling for a coup against President Trump. President Trump must go public about this. President Trump must, via the Justice Department, move against incredible criminal activity like this. Now, they're also spinning this, trying to say, oh, well, if he removes Mueller, then we have a right to do this. No, the president has the right to do that. If Congress wants to try to impeach him, they can. It's the separation of powers. But the bureaucracy, Democrats that have appointed FBI directors, law firms that are giving themselves tens of millions of dollars to run this witch hunt, where 99.8% of the people that are donating money to political parties are giving it to the Democrats and Hillary and Mueller's law firm. Total conflict of interest. Two of the people on this new witch hunt, special investigator, special counsel group, were fired by Trump, working for the federal government as U.S. attorneys. This is a joke. This is a joke. Again, it's like a man divorcing his wife, and he's the judge, the family law judge, that sits on his own case. And Trump's going, what are you doing? Now they've expanded it to all his finances, all his companies, all his family, all his associates, everybody in his campaign to try to find something. And they're using illegal spying to get it. It's so un-American. President Trump must move against the globalist. President Trump constitutionally must expose this to the public and then have an attorney general that will execute the Constitution faithfully and will go after a multinational coup of private interest and bureaucrats who think they're going to publicly organize a military coup. That's the killing of the president. Is the president supposed to just sit there and wait till they kill him? That's the question I'm asking. Is he just going to sit there while they organize a violent overthrow and the shutdown of the free press? Are we going to sit here and take it? We've got to do what Pastor Rodney Howard Brown from South Africa, who's been on before, by the way, and who has a huge ministry and is a major evangelical who's friends with Trump and led that prayer meeting 2 weeks ago with Trump. He met with a senior Republican congressman who said the plan for violent overthrow is imminent. They're organizing it now. Well, hell, you just saw earlier, I played the clip, Brennan up there with Clapper on TV saying we're organizing a bipartisan overthrow of the president. He said, we're taking action. We're moving in this direction. We're taking the steps. And you go, why would they tell you about a coup? They've got to get everybody sold on it in the bureaucracy. That's what's letting you know they took the safety off. They got the switches ready. They're turning the nuclear keys. You think we can all just sit here and put up with this? You think you're going to be safe with these people? You think they're just going to stop there? They're going to loot everything. They're monsters. And they're trying to tell Republicans, go along with this, we'll leave you in power. They're not going to leave anybody in power. They want a one-party system because they've been rejected. And they admit that's what they want. Owen Schroyer, how epic is this moment we're facing? And what do you think the president should do specifically?
Well, earlier you were saying, what do we do to raise the alarm? How do we get the American public to realize what's going on? And I think that President Trump has realized that now he needs an attorney general that's going to do that. He needs an attorney general that's going to be vocal. He needs an attorney general that's going to come out and say, hey, look at all these violent Democrats calling for a coup against Trump. Look at Bernie Sanders calling the Republicans an extremist party, and then Steve Scalise and 4 other people get shot at a baseball practice. Look at them saying openly they want a coup against Trump. Look at them saying openly they don't want to engage with Trump in making America great again. He's not getting that. Nobody's saying that for him. He's not getting that public support from anyone in Congress, from anyone in his administration. He's got Scaramucci now that seems to be doing it this week, coming out. But I think that that's what Trump needs to do right now to try to get that into the mainstream, get that rhetoric, get what you're talking about out there.
Because look, Infowars is his main support base. They know that's why they're attacking us. It's the American people. We're not scared. We're not going to be slaves of the globalists. We're done. But all those cowards in Washington are trying to hedge their bets. And he's just got to get real people around him that aren't playing ball with the globalists. Because look, I'd compromise to get the country going. They're not going to compromise. They're never going to stop.
Well, Scaramucci says he's going to fire everybody that leaks, so I think Trump needs to fire anybody who's not willing to get behind him 100%.
That's right. I want to talk specifically to military, law enforcement, and others, people in other countries that have lived under coups, you name it. When we come back, 800-259-9231, first-time callers, 800-259-9231. I'll give the number when we come back. We're going to take calls on this subject. Got a bunch of clips, too.
All right, so here in America, we're at a turning point tonight with forces now forming an alliance to try and remove President Trump from office. It's that serious.
This is not a diversionary tactic. This stuff is real here. This coup, this silent coup that is taking place is real.
A soft coup is underway right here in the United States of America in an attempt to overturn November's election results and forcibly remove a duly elected president from office. Sinister forces quickly aligning in what is becoming now, in my mind, a clear and present danger.
Because I got to go into the Congress and spend 3 hours from 9:30 in the evening to 12:30 a.m. with one of the senior ranking members of Congress. And he told me, and of course this is what I said on CBN, but they cut it out, but I'm going to go public with this because we have to. He said there is a plot on Capitol Hill to take the president out. I said, you mean by impeachment or by indictment? He said, no, to take him out.
This is an effort to subvert the administration of President Donald Trump. It is nothing less. It is an effort by the deep state to roll over a duly elected president and a legitimate government and to break the will of the American people.
You can read between the lines. I said, look, I said, that's not going to happen. He said, well, really, there's nothing we can do to stop it. I said, we are going to stop it because we're going to mobilize the body of Christ to pray.
And the best description of it is by Barry Castleman in his blog, where he said this is a coup d'etat. He said 14 million citizens and private ballots picked Donald Trump. 20 TV executives have decided to destroy him.
This is no longer about Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and liberals. This is about a full-on assault by the left, the Democratic Party, to absolutely carry out a coup d'etat against President Trump.
Now, I'm going to play for you. That's the last few months. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, senior pastors, Trump's pastor basically, meeting at the White House with a senior member of Congress. This is just last week, breaking this week. And CBN is afraid to run it, and I understand. This is real. And you have to understand, they're in publications that government reads trying to get it ready. And again, they're not just going to kill Trump. And believe me, they're going to kill him if they try. They're not going to let him haul him before a court in chains, turn him into a superhero. He's going to be a big enough martyr already. They're going to try to politically destroy him, then kill him, then bring out horrible lies about him so he can't defend himself. And they're going to go after all the opposition. You notice Ron Paul's starting to back Trump. He knows how much trouble Trump's in. He says, quote, Trump's back's against the wall when he was on last week and said he's doing a good job. Rand Paul says he gets up. In fact, I never played that clip last week. Can we pull that up? He wakes up every morning and thanks God Donald Trump is president or we'd already be in giant wars. That's a fact. That's Rand Paul. Those are good guys. They understand. Now, you notice the Pauls now weren't supporting Trump. Now they are because they understand, folks, he's the figurehead, and they're putting everything they can to take him down. If they get Trump, they're going to get Ron Paul. They're going to get Rand Paul. They're going to get me. They're going to get Matt Drudge. They're going to get Sean Hannity. They're going to get Rush Limbaugh. Now, is Rush Limbaugh perfect? No. Is Hannity perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. We're not out to get the country. We believe in prosperity. We believe in open religious freedom. We're Christians. We believe in America. We're not selling out to radical Islam. We're not trying to sexualize kids. We're just decent people. Does that mean Republicans don't go off the deep end sometimes? Absolutely. Does it mean the Republican establishment's horrible? Absolutely. Did it mean Limbaugh's been too easy on them? Yes. But all that's over, folks. The Republican establishment knows their days are numbered too. That's why they're combined in this evil combination, this trifecta of MSM, foreign corporations, and the political class in this country that want to stay in control. And you've got this evil combination. That's what it is, like a legion of doom. And then all their minions that are their useful idiots who are totally invested in the system. I'm going to play Brennan again here in a moment, but first I'm going to play Rand Paul. But here they are confirming everything we've said. And I don't keep saying every segment, see, I was right again. I'm explaining they're after me because I've read over 1,000 history books. I used to stay up till 2, 3 in the morning almost every books from ancient Greece and Rome and World War II and World War I. And by learning history, I learned how statecraft worked. I learned about court intrigue. I learned about secret societies. I learned about COG. I'm not bragging. I was just the type that would watch C-SPAN when I was in high school and college. I'm the type of weirdo that would, watch the re-airing on PBS of Watergate hearings. I'm the type of guy that would watch Frontline back when it was a good show about COG and plans they had to have martial law back in the 80s. They didn't go there, but now I'm seeing what they had planned then. They're crazy enough to try it. They didn't try it before because there was a good chance they'd end up going to prison. The globalists are more wild now. They're not really the old guard that actually got power for themselves, that actually ran things. They were bad, but at least they worked 18 hours a day and had some restraint. You look at the people running things now, they thought they were going to beat Trump. It shows it's like they're weak and they're overconfident. And what is it you learn about these weirdos that get mentally ill and get megalomania? If they're a manager or, some small thing, the more power they get, the crazier they get. That explains all of this. And Trump is just steadfastly like a leader, taking it all, going through it. And so now is the time. Everybody needs to pray for Trump, pray for Infowars. They need to get these clips we just played and get them out to everybody so they understand this is happening. And then don't pull back and get scared and put your head down. Putting your head down at a crossroads of history, you may get ahead putting your head down in different periods of life on average. You won't be a happy person. It'll end up leading towards collapse down the road. But at the end of the line, keeping your head down makes you go over the cliff. You're like in a canoe about to go over Niagara Falls. Keeping your head down is going to get you destroyed. You got to paddle over towards the land. You still got time. There's Niagara Falls. Oh, it's scary. Here, let's put our head between our knees. Don't have paddles? You better jump in the water and swim towards the shore. Are you going to make it? I don't know. But I'm rowing as hard as I can, and I think we got a chance here. But I'm in the boat with a bunch of people that got their thumbs in their rear ends, and I'm not complaining at most of you. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, I don't tell you about half the stuff goes on behind the scenes. It's like a James Bond movie, okay? But I got to tell you, most of their operatives and people I run into now are scared. They look at us like we're rock stars, and you can tell they want to join us. They're just scared. They don't like working for the system. And that's why the globalists are so close to the edge right now, is because their minions, a lot of them are corrupt, but they're not psychopaths, and they're mercenaries, and they just want to have a future. And they realize there's no future under globalism. It's about austerity. And it's sick, and it's failed, and it's evil, and we don't want to be part of this. Now is the time when the chips are down, which our prognosis is great. This way is, happy trails and green pastures. This way is hell on earth. But they're telling us this way towards the green pastures is hell, and heaven's towards the hellish part. If people just saw, they go, well, this is easy choice. But the reason the chips are down is that the enemy is so bold and is publicly promoting coups now and civil war while simultaneously saying it doesn't exist. When they speak to Davos or Aspen or Bilderberg or Charlie Rose, then it's we want martial law and overthrow because they're talking to intelligentsia. But when they talk to the public, they're like CNN. Crazy Alex Jones says there's a plan for a coup, so he wants to kill Democrats. Never show you a clip of it, do they? They misrepresent. Oh, look, he's the kook. Ha ha. Comedy Central has whole shows now based on me. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Homeland. So everybody sees him pointed. Ah, ha, ha, ha. He's the one that just guessed the lottery right 10 times in a row. He's a kook. Oh, he just changed the whole world. Oh, the operating system he rebooted, Americana, has been picked up by the White House. Word for word, they figured it out. Exactly what I say out of the mouths of all these people now. And that's fine. I don't want the credit. The enemy already knows who gets the credit. They want to tell you, oh, we got all these shows demonizing him on HBO and Showtime and Comedy Central, and we're attacking him everywhere and saying how evil and bad he is and how he needs to die because he's powerless. Yeah, we're all obsessed with him because he's powerless. I am the spirit of 1776, and so are you. All I am is a match of flame. And when there's no other flame around, it looks big. And it's amazing. But all you got to do is set brush fires, and soon it's a bigger flame. And they go, oh, globalists, we just light the whole thing over. Oh, because the fire doesn't hurt us, it burns them. Oh, fire goes up. Oh, you want a revolution? Oh, how about 1776? Oh, political. Fires in the minds of men. I'm a flamethrower. And I've already set devastating fires in the enemy camp. I just want you to recognize we're under the main assault because they know. They call me a virus on CNN and on Fox and on MSNBC. They go, oh, the virus, Alex, shut the virus. Because I know who they are. I know they're cowards. I know they're scum. I know they're filth. I know they hate their families if they even have them. I know them. I know that they know I'm not afraid. They hate that because they live in fear. They're rats. So here is the clip of, and we'll go to your phone calls with Owen Schroyer riding shotgun with me. Here is Rand Paul.
Sometimes the media gets self-occupied with a story, the sort of, I think, made up in a way, Russian story, but we get so occupied with it that we forget the good things that are happening. And I think a lot of good things have happened so far. And I always compare it. Every day I wake up and say, it could have been Hillary Clinton. We could be at war in the Middle East because Hillary Clinton wanted to go to war everywhere, and she would be at war with American business. It could be terrible. And I think Trump's doing a much better job than we would have gotten.
There you go. The Pauls have total integrity and they're behind Trump because he's real, folks. I can't believe he's gotten this much done. And we sit here and bitch. They're going to kill him any day now. They're going to blow him and his family up, folks. Oh, they're going to wait till they get the whole family together. They want them all, especially Donald Jr. Just watch. Oh, God, I can't believe that they've got Clapper and Brennan on TV calling for coups. And they've got these little weak spooks in Newsweek. Oh, God. And they're just we're just ruled by scum that hijacked everything. They didn't even conquer us. Now we're struggling, so they're trying to conquer us. And they're just such filth. Are we really ruled by these people? I need your support. You know, so many people have deficiencies, and as we know, so much of disease is caused by deficiencies. If you don't have vitamin C, you die. If you don't have selenium, you die. Just search selenium deficiencies, cancer, hundreds and hundreds of big studies. It's just amazing. And we wonder what's going on in our society with these fields that don't have the right minerals and cofactors in them and all the rest of it. We just sell products that I personally use and people love, produced by 4 of the biggest organic producers in the country. Group's one of them. The others are even bigger established companies. Our new Whey is one of the biggest, best organic companies. It's grass-fed whey, organic, super high quality. That's available out of the gates, 20% off. We've got Caveman Combo. The new strawberry flavor is excellent. Vanilla didn't taste too good, so we never launched that. We have chocolate and vanilla, amazing bone broth concentrate, then the turmeric, the chaga mushrooms, the bee pollen, and so much more. It's the #1 selling bone broth formula out there. Bone broth, obviously, it's the equivalent of chicken noodle soup to squared. It's concentrated. So that's an amazing product. Now in strawberry flavor, that's 25% off. Super Female Vitality sells okay. Super Male is one of our best sellers, but Super Female is amazing, and it's almost the same formula as Super Male. The Super Male formula discount is gone because it's about to sell out. Super Female, we've got quite a bit of that, but I have no need to sell it at 57% off, which is basically a loss leader. But I'm doing it because I want women that have never tried it, or men to try, because for some men it works better for them. A guy doesn't like taking something that says it's for a female, but it's just a formula that's more geared towards women. I personally think some of the herbs in it are stronger, some of them are weaker, but it's tailored for women, but works better for some men. That's 57% off right now. Silver bullet, colloidal silver, 66% off, $9.95. We've got the super silver special, colloidal silver bottle, silver bullet, the super blue toothpaste with colloidal silver and iodine, fluoride free, and the electric toothbrush, 50% off. That's $34.93. Comparable toothbrushes sell for that much. The toothbrush sells for $19 normally. We're selling it for $10 in that combo. That's what we get it for. So some of that is a loss leader. The toothbrush is a loss leader, but then we make some money on the toothpaste and the silver bullet with it. But that is an amazing deal. 50% off on the super silver special. Pro Pure Traveler, amazing system, very best gravity filter out there. Again, that's 30% off. Alexa Pure Breeze, amazing. Comparable units cost $200, $300 more. It's $149, and it's normal $219. It's a super deal. Great system. Vitamin Mineral Fusion with amino acids as well, $39.95. That's 33% off. Knockout is $14.95, 50% off. Prostagard is 33% off. Myco ZX is 46% off, because I want you to see the other part of the equation. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. It targets the fungus and all the rest of the garbage. Owen Schroyer's riding a shotgun there very dutifully, because I'm on the road, because I have any glitches. He pops in. We come back for several segments. We're taking your calls ahead of the big pastor, friends with Trump, been on before, Patriot, Mr. Brown, who met with the senior congressman about the martial law plan, the coup plan. Now, he brought this out on Monday. Here we are on Wednesday. Yesterday, a day after, Brennan comes out and says it on TV. They're getting a coup ready. So see the credibility of this. So that means they're getting ready to go live. We hope to back them off and stop them. But if we don't make a big deal out of this, if we let them normalize it, they're going to pull it. So again, but free shipping on top of all those specials, that ends this week. It's been throughout the month of July, but it's about to end. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. We are defending the Republic here. Thanks to listeners, we're breaking through. We've got a president in. The globalists are counter-striking and revealing themselves even more. We're going to go to Steve, Patrick, Jason, Carlos, Megan, and others ahead of Pastor Brown exposing the martial law from his White House meeting that the Democrats are planning. He'll be joining us. The planned coup, the murder of the president, now being publicly announced by Brennan and others on national television. They're just reporting like it's very calm that we're going to bipartisanly take him out in a coup. They're moving forward with that right now. Outside of elections, outside of impeachment, Wolf Blitzer says, but, you know, you'd have to have Congress remove him. And you go, no, we have other things we're doing. And so there you go. Blitzer's smart enough to hedge his bets. Doesn't sound too safe, does it, old Blitzy? You guys are really going to go too far, aren't you? You can't help it, though. All of you want to get your feet wet. All the little wimp analysts and want-to-be tough guys out there want to get your feet wet. Well, boy, I hope it doesn't rain, but if it does, it's going to rain a lot. And I think you're going to get your face wet. Let's go ahead and go to Patrick in North Carolina. Patrick, you are on the air.
How's it going, Alex? First time.
Good, buddy. Go ahead. Welcome.
I was calling to say that I think that Attorney General Jeff Sessions needs to go. I think Trump needs to start purging everybody, whether the Democrat, Republican, needs to expose them. And I think he needs to take it a step further and even expose the Federal Reserve.
Well, he has announced a move to audit it. That's why he's got the Pauls behind him. And he's getting real close to Rand Paul. That's my dream that would happen. I know Drudge might have had something to do with that. Little Bird told me. So a lot of exciting things going on behind the scenes. But you're absolutely right. I mean, he's got to do it. They're the ones, dereliction of duty. And Sessions has done a great job in the Senate, but he's choking. He's choking.
I believe he's going against the will of the American people. You know, he's battling in the wrong areas. He really needs to go after these people, go after the criminals who are bringing us down. I'm a newly
exactly. We have to go after the current infestation in D.C. God bless you. I appreciate your call. They're doing a great job. 69% down in illegals coming across the borders 6 months in. So, I mean, Sessions is doing a great job other than prosecute Hillary. We have to get on the offense. Everything they say Trump's done, they've done. Great point, sir. All right, we got Megan, Carlos, Steven, Jason. You want to comment on what he just said real quick, Owen?
Well, I mean, it's obvious at this point that if Trump doesn't have an administration and a cabinet that's not only communicating together, that's why he brought in Scaramucci, but also is willing to not play defense, but also go on the offense. You know, I mean, that's something that you've been saying since the election. Why isn't Trump going on the offense? Why isn't he? I mean, Alex, this is a joke. You had Debbie Wasserman Schultz, IT person, get arrested trying to flee the country. Okay, you had Lee Stranahan on yesterday breaking down the collusion with Hillary Clinton and the Ukrainians. Nothing on the Hill today, Alex. Zero. Zero on the mainstream news. Zero. Where is the Attorney General on that?
We have the Democrats colluding basically with over 50 foreign governments and getting money, hundreds of millions from foreign governments into the election coffer. They should all go to jail. It's open and shut, but they're trying to find a crooked fingernail on Trump. And they've got a dragnet out so big, they're going to find something in his whole system.
Yeah, Mueller can do whatever he wants now, and that's because of the special counsel giving him free reign.
Absolutely. Let's go to another call. We see Steve, who's been holding the longest here. Let's talk to Steve in New York. Steve, thanks for holding with Jason in Germany.
Hi, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's incredible to be able to get through to you. I've been trying to get through for 2 years, so I guess miracles are possible.
Well, the miracle's about to happen. I didn't hear the music coming up. I'm on the road. 70 seconds. I'm coming right back to you, Steve. Don't hang up. We're 70 seconds away from Steve, and then we're about 8-9 minutes away from Pastor Brown, and we'll continue on with your calls. But Steve, Jason, Carlos, Megan, John, everybody, your calls are straight ahead. Everyone listening has a choice to make. What are you doing during the Second American Revolution as we face an evil far more wicked than King George III? What are you going to do as Brennan and Clapper on the same stage discuss a violent coup against the president and his removal forcibly from office, a new election run by Democrat-controlled Homeland Security? Will never come back from this. This is the pure conversion to authoritarianism because they know America has rejected their collectivism, their globalism, their political correctness, their anti-Christian, pro-radical Islam garbage. What are you going to do to stop them openly calling for a violent coup? What are you going to do to raise the alarm and not let them normalize it on national television? That's the question I'm asking. Steve in New York, go ahead, sir.
Hey, Alex. I just wanted to say that I bought 30 of the Trump shirts. I'm wearing a Trump Pence 2020 shirt now, and I get a lot of good comments when I go. I'm in New England near New York and Vermont, and it's just incredible the power that I feel when I'm watching your show. And I don't want to say thanks a million times, but really, thanks. I'm giving away the shirts to the veterans that come for my customers in my store, so they're really glad. But, it might be just one or two of them, I give out, but I can tell, in their heart, they really feel and they understand what you're doing there. And I just wanted to say that. And as far as the coup goes, I know I've heard you say a lot of times that when the bomber is over the target, the flak comes in, and I think this is really what's happening here. The flak is coming in. Trump's on target. You're on target. You're making a difference. They're feeling it. They're feeling the pressure. They got to come up.
The reason I don't want you to thank me is you're getting it backwards. It's you. You're the reason they're in trouble. We're just a focal point. Trump's just a focal point. Understand that. But it's symbiotic. They want to destroy us to get at you, to make you be demoralized. But no matter what they do to me or Trump, we're winning. We're never going to fail. If they're dumb enough to kill us, it'll blow up even bigger in their face. But at that point, unfortunately, they've crossed a line. And just understand, they're going to try to trick the police into a civil war. You got to go around them. Everybody has to understand we've got to work as hard as we can to stop a violent revolution, a violent civil war. But if they push us into one, they've drawn first blood. Everybody's got to commit and just, forget the maneuvers, go straight at them. And everybody's got to really think about who runs the show, who's responsible in your area, right on up. Who asked for this fight? Who pushed it?
Sure. I understand. I'm making a difference. I'm doing what I can. But like I say, I'm a New Yorker, and I understand Trump. I've seen, what he's done, and I know his capabilities. And we've only just gotten started, and he doesn't even have his staff picked out yet. And they're, you know, it's already, you know, it's already ridiculous. You know,
That's right. They've tried to block him for 6 months with everything they've gotten. They keep saying he's gotten nothing legislative done, but via executive, he's done wonders to kill globalism. God bless you, Steve. More calls coming up after we have the pastor on. So just hold 20, 30 minutes, and we'll get to Natalie and Jason and Carlos and Megan. Megan's up next. But taking us out to break, this is such a critical time. I get goosebumps. I cannot describe to folks, Owen, how hardcore this is.
Well, I think that one of the issues that Trump has right now is if Sessions was to resign or to be fired, now he has to jump over another hurdle of getting another AG through all the testimonies and appointed when you know that the swamp is going to try to stop that.
That's right. I mean, it's just a nightmare because people are scared. They're being threatened. Their families are being threatened.
Exactly. That's the key right there. I'm worried about Jeff Sessions and his family. I pray for them.
Absolutely. There's no telling what he's been through, but this is just a nightmare situation. We're in a war, folks. We're in a war. We'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, we can see for miles and miles and miles and miles because we have great patriots like Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne, who's warned of the dangers of collectivism, globalism, you name it. He and his wife in 1987 fled South Africa as it was beginning to collapse with $300 and 4 suitcases and their 3 children. And now he has Revival Ministries International, travels 46 weeks out of the year, has their great church in Tampa that supports them, revival.com, one of the most successful, prolific, and powerful evangelical preachers out there. One of the guys I enjoy, I know, watching and listening to. You can just tell he's got the spirit and the focus and the courage to stand against tyranny. They are organizing in the Financial Times of London, New Yorker Magazine, Foreign Affairs, Public Affairs of the CFR, and Atlantic Monthly, a coup, a violent killing of the president. They even have articles where deputy secretaries of defense under Obama shop a Pentagon coup, and it's in the newspaper, selling it like it's normal. We're talking about an illegal action. Now, 3 days after this video clip came out of him addressing his church, coming back from Washington this Sunday, Brennan, the former head of the CIA, came out at the Aspen Institute yesterday. Paul Watson wrote about it today. It's on Infowars.com. We played the clip 3 times already and said, oh, we're not going to have impeachment. We're getting bipartisan in the government, the bureaucracy, to prepare a coup, confirming everything that a senior member of the Republican Party in Congress told Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne of Revival.com. But now we have them saying it publicly. So they're doing that. You say, well, don't they want it to be secret? No, no, no. They've lost the election. The Russian thing's made up. They've done illegal spying for the few Russian contacts that were there because the Russians throw themselves at everybody, just like the Chinese. Of course they've got their people out there. The Trumps met with them to see if there was dirt on Hillary. That's what you're supposed to do. Trump said, if you got the WikiLeaks of her emails, release them. She's the one committing the crimes. She's the one with the uranium deals. She's the one with the foundation, $100+ million from Russian banks. So they turn it all around, and still they're failing, and they know Trump's getting more support, not less. So they're panicking. So here is the pastor this Sunday laying this out, and now, days later, the former CIA director, the same one that told the president to shut his mouth, goes public trying to sell the idea. Here is the pastor.
As high as what Monday was, Tuesday was a low, because I got to go into the Congress and spend 3 hours from 9:30 in the evening to 12:30 a.m. with one of the senior ranking members of Congress. And he told me, and of course, this is what I said on CBN, but they cut it out, but I'm going to go public with this because we have to. He said, there is a plot on Capitol Hill to take the president out. I said, you mean by impeachment or by indictment? He said, no, to take him out. He will be removed suddenly from office. Well, you can read between the lines. I said, look, I said, that's not going to happen. He said, well, really, there's nothing we can do to stop it. I said, we are going to stop it because we're going to mobilize the body of Christ to pray. So listen, they started a war. You know, they are so upset about what's happening because since when last has the body of Christ had access into the White House? It wasn't that way under Reagan. They might come and go a little bit. It wasn't that way under Clinton. It wasn't that way under both Bushes. And it definitely wasn't that way under Obama. But we have a president that's opened the door for the body of Christ. And that is huge. whichever way you want to look at it. And let me tell you, you know, everybody's moaning Republican, Democrat. He actually is neither. He's basically a populist that the American people voted for. They put a businessman in the White House because things are so fouled up. Well, if you want to really see fouled up, go to Congress and go sit and talk to he's been there since '96. So he knows everything about what's going on. And I can tell you the games that are being played, how they're actually trying to set the president up in every way. So, but when he told me what he said, that they are planning, the talk on the Hill is the plan that suddenly he'll be removed. So what we're going to do, we're going to launch it today as a 24-hour prayer initiative to pray around the clock, and we do it across the nation, around the world, for the protection of the president.
Absolutely. Joining us, and a lot of people know this, as you know, big national Christian networks got this info. They're scared to run it. Now they have the former CIA director admitting that they're actually planning to do this. This is so illegal. This is so criminal. And Trump, when I've talked to him, he said, without even bringing it up, you know, the First Amendment, Alex, Congress shall make no law respecting an established religion. The government's not supposed to be involved. We're going to get the First Amendment back to the churches. He said, that's the first thing I'm going to do. He brings it up. He is really upset about the fact that only Democrat churches have free speech. And that's another reason they're mad. So this is about a man that's not a fake Pharisee, but somebody who really does love God and who's been through a process the last 5 years of getting closer to God, almost like Saul of Tarsus on the road to Damascus. But I'm going to stop preaching because our preacher's here with us right now. He's only with us at the bottom of the hour. He might be able to stay a little bit longer, but I wanted to intro that with his words. Pastor Rodney Howard Brown, revival.com. Thank you so much for joining us during this critical time.
Hey, Alex, I can't believe you're speaking to me from beautiful Hawaii.
Yeah, and I tell you, you know God's real when you see this place.
It's so good to be here with you today.
Well,
you know, we actually have conducted meetings in Washington, D.C. I started in 2014, went to Constitution Hall, which is right in the shadow of the White House, for 15 nights, because I didn't know what to do. You know, we could sit and moan about the things in the government, but we have to do something. So for 15 nights, I went there, preached. We had 31,000 people give their lives to the Lord. And I also stood every night, must have looked like a total idiot, and just issued a restraining order, basically in prayer, telling the devil, you can't have America, speaking to the powers that be, to cease and desist in their maneuvers. And we went back in 2015, we went back in 16, and of course now, God has given us a last-minute reprieve. We're not through the woods, because all the never-Trumpers, all the neocons, all the people that didn't want the president are still working against him. And so Monday, 2 weeks ago, when we went in, we actually weren't going to meet with the president. We were just there in a strategy meeting with 25, my wife and myself, 25 other leaders with the president, and different members of the administration were coming in. We were talking to them, asking questions. After lunch, Jared Kushner came in. We asked him questions. You could ask whatever you want to. I mean, I don't think this has ever been allowed before in any White House I know. And then he left. About an hour later, in walked the vice president. And so when I saw him, I stood up. People didn't know why I was standing, but there was the vice president. He said, I was in the Oval Office. Jared came in, told me that you guys were here. And I said, the president, I'm going to go see them. And the president said, no, bring them down to the Oval Office. So we went down unannounced. It was like very surreal for me coming as a missionary from Africa 30 years ago. Now you stand yourself standing in the Oval Office. And I felt to go and stand behind him, because I'm not on his side or in front of him. I'm behind him. I'm supporting our president, and I did from day one. And so that picture you see of the hands, that's my hand, my wife's hand. And of course, I waited till the White House gave us permission to release it. And then we did. Of course, it went viral, picked up by the Mail Online in London, South Africa, Australia. We were getting calls from all over. And so, of course, the media all freaking out about the picture, because how terrible. I mean, I think CNN said, isn't it just terrible that they were touching the president? But the president has no problem with that. People have no clue that, you know, he's undone already 60% of the Obama agenda. That the media
judge a tree by its fruits. And exactly, when I've talked to Trump, he brings it up. He says, you feel the spirit in that inauguration. You know, do you feel the spirit at the event there in Cleveland, he really does feel the energy of God and of Christians. And the more Christians embrace him, the more his faith is getting strengthened. That's what's scaring him right now.
Totally. So they're really afraid. And it was a most amazing time. You know, they said he was, you know, uptight. He was relaxed, joking. It was very funny. You know, I'm very proud of the president. Now, so as high as what Monday was, Tuesday was like a low. I go into the Congress, and I can't divulge the name. It was a senior congressman. But here's what he said. You know, first of all, we went for 3 hours. He talked about the health care plan that was going to be passed. He said, it's not really the president. This is Paul Ryan's plan, and it's going to make Paul Ryan $800 billion, and then he would be able to do whatever he wants to do with it and basically set up the president for a weakened position in 2018 and 2020. So we talked about many things. And then he said, the talk on the Hill is that the president will be removed suddenly in the next 2 months. I said, what are you talking about? Impeachment, indictment? He said, no, he'll be removed suddenly. And I'm not even maybe talk about somebody firing a bullet, but he would be immobilized. He would be immobilized. And at that juncture, then Pence would be president and Paul Ryan would be vice president. May God help us. So here's the thing. When I was interviewed by CBN, I put it on there. They cut it out. So I thought I have to go public with it. And I'm going to meet with the Secret Service and explain what he said. But he said this was the talk on the Hill. This is a congressman that totally loves the president. He cannot even get to the president because the people around the president are blocking him from even getting to the president. He wants to help the president. He wants to help the president's agenda. But there are people in the Republican Party and the neocons that are doing everything they can. So the president said, please, can we do this? Yes, Mr. President. They go and they do the exact opposite. So that's the problem. You know, we have to pray for him. That's why I launched this 24-hour prayer initiative to pray for the protection of the president, because, you know, we don't know. This is not how America operates. You know, we've had a situation whereby John Kennedy was taken out, and that was because he was going to totally transform the financial system, and they didn't want that. Reagan, of course, came out of the blue, but they put Bush Sr., who was the CIA operative, to watch him, and he had a bullet fired across his path. But other than that, all the others, Bush and Clinton, which they are personal friends. These people have been family friends for years. And even Obama played into the same narrative. You could see the dogs of war. We're in Afghanistan. We're running the opium of the world. We're in Syria because it's about an oil pipeline. Because you know how Al-Qaeda is funded out of here by all these foundations and these things. And that
Trump
have been
just
doing...
killed that. President Trump killed that 2 weeks ago. He killed NATO and the globalist funding of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. That's why he threatened NATO until they decided to stop funding. We're ending a Machiavellian evil policy of world enmity and world collapse and world crisis and chaos that they get their power from, and trying to bring back, you know, a good, straight up, soft power initiative that empowers everybody except tyrants. And that's why the forces of evil, as you say, it's spiritual, are totally arrayed against Trump. It is just incredible to see this, as you say, 11th hour reprieve. And I think if we miss this reprieve, the allegory of, you know, what's happening currently ties into what Nineveh and Jonah getting their reprieve. I think that if we don't take this reprieve and really use it, I think we're going to go into serious judgment. I mean, you're a lot more of a theologian than I. You've traveled the world like probably nobody else has, one of the biggest missionaries out there. I mean, what is your gut level spiritual discernment on this?
So, Alex, we have been praying. We've had, over the years, all-night prayer. That means people come here and they pray right through the night just for America. You see, I came from South Africa. I became a citizen. I had to raise my hand to pledge to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. So even though I'm a minister, I have to speak out. If I don't speak out, I have to renounce my citizenship and leave. You cannot be American and not do something about what we're facing. So here's where we are. God has heard our cry. And as much as some people get all angry that Trump is not the way that they think that he should be, let me tell you, anybody they would put in there would get eaten alive. God raised up Donald Trump as a wrecking ball to this globalist agenda to destroy America. And so we have a window, and we have to move quickly on this. We cannot sit idly by. Everybody must be mobilized. Everybody must speak out. and we have to wake up the population. Many churches are sleeping. Pastors are afraid. They're afraid of losing their tithe. They're afraid of losing their 501c3. Alex, I've said this publicly. If they want mine, I will take my 501c3, take a jar of Vaseline and send it to them. They can use it as a suppository. We are not going to be quiet. We're not going to be quiet. We can't.
Well, Pastor, I can tell that we both have the same spirit. So does President Trump. And as you said it, he's stubborn. He hates bullies. He's always hated big banks. I know you're an expert on that. And globalists that have tried to push him around. He is the blue-collar billionaire. So it is that stubbornness that God's using against him. You say like John the Baptist was, pretty stubborn and aggressive and all the rest of it. But if you look at it, it's absolutely true. Throughout the Bible and throughout history, God works in mysterious ways and a lot of times raises up somebody who isn't the perfect goody two-shoe to go up against evil. Can you speak to that? And I know God's spirit has different aspects. What would you call this spirit of resistance against tyranny that we see that is driving us in our bones to resist and speak out right now?
Well, look at Samson. What a unique ministry. He took I was joking, said he took a jawbone of his mother-in-law and killed 1,000 the enemy. But he took a jawbone of a donkey. Samson was God's deliverer for his people. I often prayed, I said, Lord, can't we have a modern-day Samson and just send him straight to Washington and just clean house, But here we are with President Trump, and he understands. He knows what's going on. He's not stupid. The media make him out to be like he doesn't know, but he's very, very sharp. He knows what's going on. And he also realizes that we have to have divine intervention in America. Without divine intervention, Alex, we have no hope because these things have been around for a long, long time. This is not something that was initiated under the Obama regime or the Bush or the Clinton. This is something that goes right back to 1913 at the foundation of the Federal Reserve. And
before that, the Tower of Babel and the Tower of Babel in Egypt, always they're trying to set up a one world government.
Totally. So we are the resistance. We are the ones that are to stand up. And I got ministers saying to me, you trying to change Bible prophecy? Don't you know in the end times the Antichrist will take over? I said, look, over my dead body, I'm not going to go quietly into history. I said, how do we live with ourselves in eternity when we know? So we get to heaven. We in heaven, you and me, we're in heaven. And there's Stephen, who was stoned for his faith. And then we have to tap Stephen on the shoulder and say, Stephen, you love Jesus more than we did. I couldn't live with myself. I tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, Stephen, we loved him equally, but you could never have loved him more than what we did. The founder.
Well, of course, and it's these fights. It's these fights that bring out who we really are. This is the fire that tests us. This is the experience. This is the boot camp. This is the test. And this modern cosmology in churches of just hide in the church. Thank God they want microchips. Thank God the child molesters are taking over because wickedness is increasing as in the days of Noah. That means Jesus is about to come back. Well, it means as one world government and all this comes in that we're meant to wake as many people up so that they make the right spiritual choice, not just accept it all and let your kids plug into the matrix.
Yeah, and Jesus said, occupy till I come. The fact of the matter is that there's 56 signs of the Declaration of Independence lost everything. So with respect to them, as an American, we have to, I don't care who you are, it's got nothing to do with, someone said, well, that doesn't involve me. It involves every single American. And it's quite crazy that I come from Africa, but I'm more red, white, and blue than a lot of the red, white, and blue. We have to stand up and we have to be counted. We have a window.
Well, that's because you came out of seeing wars and tyranny and manipulation and communism. I mean, it's the same thing with Eastern Europeans coming in who live under communism. They appreciate freedom, or folks coming from Africa or wherever. But let's expand on that in the time we have. Talking to the congressman, talking to others, we now have, I don't know if you've seen this, the former head of the CIA saying we need to have basically a military coup against Trump. He said that 3 days after your sermon. So they're now in major publications like Atlantic Monthly actually calling for what you said.
It's ridiculous. I mean, if people can't see that there's a problem, then they must be that far asleep that they don't realize that that's how far gone we are. But the very fact that President Trump is in the White House today is a miracle. Knowing what I know, it's a total miracle. He should never have ever made it. They wanted one of the other minions in there so they could continue with their agenda. But God has heard the cry of the church, put him in, and now we must back him, pray for him, stand behind him, and we've got to get up and get mobilized, mobilize everybody. We've got to reach into our inner cities, Alex. because that's the problem where the big melting pot is. As you know, they've been kept as slaves in the inner city on government aid and support, and we're doing that. We're busing people in. We're doing everything we can to go in and then train people, teach them, show them what is happening, because they've even been taught a false history concerning America. And so that's why they're trying to stir up racism, get everybody fighting one another, because that's the game. You get people fighting each other, and then you steal everything that they have. And so that's why I spoke out, because when I heard that there was a plan to basically immobilize the president, he'd be immobilized, he can't function in office anymore. And the congressman said, that's the talk on the Hill. He didn't say who said. He said that what
I want to be specifically, when they say immobilized, they're talking about a COG, military overthrow. Wolf Blitzer says, you mean impeachment? He goes, no, we're talking about bipartisanly bureaucracy doing it. That is totally illegal. Trump will resist it. And believe me, that's just the public cover. They're getting the public ready for him to be killed. I want to ask you a question. Looking at this, they're trying to shut down free speech. They're going after Christians. They now realize Trump is standing against that as a last gasp. That's why they're so desperate. The churches need to know at this crossroads, covering their rear ends, not sticking their heads up, they're going to lose everything. Don't they understand that they're going to lose their free speech if they don't stand up now?
Look, it's like the churches in Germany, when there were churches near each other and they would come to take the people, to take them to the gas chambers, the other church would sing loud, you know, to drown out the cries. So that's always been around. And you hear the story of the Good Samaritan, how, you know, the Levite walked by and then the priest walks by. But it took somebody putting themselves in harm's way to get down off his horse or donkey, whatever he's riding, and then pick him up and take him to the inn. And so the church should be on that mission. If you go back and study history, as you have, you see people like Wilberforce that stopped slavery in England. These people were counted. People like Dr. David Livingstone that went through Africa and with no radio, television, no cell phone, nothing, walking, more by line. His wife died at 41. He died at 60. And these people have impacted history. We've done tours. I've gone where David Livingstone went.
Pastor, please stay there. Please stay there. Do a few more minutes with us just on other big issues you'd like to relay to the listeners and viewers. It's amazing to have you with us, folks. They are planning a coup against Trump. We must raise the alarm. Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne is our guest. He'll be gone in about 10 minutes or so. Then we're going to talk to Jason in Germany, Natalie in Australia, Megan in Wisconsin, Carlos in Canada, Sean in Oklahoma, and others. And we'll continue riding shotgun with Owen Schroyer. Coming up in the fourth hour today, we also have another host, Paul Watson's hosting some of the broadcasts tomorrow as well. I'll be here hosting the main transmission. Pastor Rodney Howard, we have all these callers from Australia, Germany, you name it. This is a worldwide awakening to unelected global government. And I see all the headlines about Trump trying to stop the rule of law and Trump trying to influence his attorney general. They're not doing anything to Hillary. They're not going after any of these big crimes. And they're arrogantly trying to block the election that we just saw. You're a smarter guy than I am in many ways. I mean, I can sit here and ask questions, but most importantly, what do you want to impart to the listeners and the viewers right now? What I'm getting from you is basically the same thing I'm feeling in my gut, but also intellectually seeing. This is such a critical time. The country and the world's future is on a knife's edge. And if we simply speak out and take action and expose what's happening, which is starting to happen, they won't be able to carry out this coup. And we'll also realize the soft coup, all the made-up Russiagate, Dragnetzer frauds, and derail that and continue the move to remove the Democrats and Republican establishment people from power peacefully through the electoral process. My problem is I see the Democrats and Soros and others openly calling for civil war, openly calling for cop killing, openly calling for destabilization. And at a certain point, the president constitutionally needs to move against them. Now, people say, oh, well, that's fascism. No, it's not. If you have a president with rogue global elements trying to cause civil war, trying to call for coups, it's dereliction of all of our duty if we don't do something. So we need to spread the word. We need to expose things. But what else do we need to impart to listeners and viewers and people about what they need to be doing right now?
Well, of course, I carry the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because the only way to change everybody is to get their heart changed. So that's what we're focusing on 24 hours a day. But then also to mobilize the people once they've given their lives to Christ to be used of God and become his hands and feet and his mouth, and then be mobilized. I believe people need to run for office. People need to get into government. We started actually in Tampa, a school of government, because, and I've got some people that are going to run 2018, 2020. So we cannot be quiet. We've got to be proactive. If the godly people do nothing, only the wicked will prevail. And this thing it was so far gone. If you understand where the president went into the middle of the biggest swamp ever. And so that's why we have to pray for his protection. That's why we started our prayer initiative. Basically, it's 24/7 prayer around the clock, just for the protection of the president, so that they don't do anything. You know, I pray over his food. They don't try to poison him or do whatever. Because, you know, here's the problem. These people are wicked. These people are Luciferian. They worship Lucifer at the highest levels. And so what would stop them from collapsing the dollar, plunging America into another Great Depression?
They're already trying.
From an EMP attack on America, knocking out the electrical grid. I'm warned about all these things. So we have to pray. And I know that many people say, oh, it's not going to happen. But it's at critical mass now. If America's an hourglass, the final grains of sand are coming through it. And we have to do something. We've got to do something.
Well, that's why I'm in Hawaii, is because a lot of the elites are moving to Kauai, Zuckerberg and others, and then it's even come out in the newspapers years after. What I learned from my sources is that even though if there's a breakdown in civilization, it'd be hard to get off the island, they're planning such a big, prolonged civil war based on racial issues and other things, they admit they are in the WikiLeaks, that there might be total breakdown in many areas. And I've been looking at Hawaii as a place, if I see the signs, to evacuate my family to, that's still in the United States, and then I would stay in Texas. It's that bad that I'm actually having to look at evacuation strategies, and the elites, it's all over the newspaper, are digging in. They're moving here, or they're moving to Tasmania. And when you see the globalists themselves building armored redoubts in bunkers right here in Kauai, and planning to basically shut this off if the mainland collapses, it lets you know what you just said. These Luciferians started world wars trying to get full control. They will do anything, but as you said, prayer and connecting to God, they hate that because there's strength in it. Why is there so much strength in that?
Because obviously God is the creator of heaven and earth, and when we pray, then God gets involved in the affairs of man. If anybody thinks that it's an accident that President Trump is in the White House and they don't understand the power of God that actually delivered America from a wicked system that was going to be put in place. Can you imagine where we would be if Hillary had got in? Oh, Lord have mercy. I can imagine everything.
TPP, carbon taxes, open borders, executive order gun control, restricting free speech. They'd announced it all.
Totally. And then we would have been shut down, especially me, because I'm very vocal. And I'm not going to be quiet, Alex. I mean, I never have. I was raised as a kid. That's how I was. I always got myself into trouble for opening my mouth. But if I feel something's wrong, I'm going to talk out about it. And that's just the way it is. So I want to say to everybody, you know, if you're watching right now and you're not right with God, surrender your life to him. Say, please use me. God wants to use you, just like he used Moses to deliver God's people out of Egypt, out of bondage. And Moses only could go once he had that burning bush experience. So you need to have an encounter with God where the fire of God comes on you, burns on the inside of you, and then you go. When you go in his power, it'll be okay. Nothing will go wrong. The Lord will protect you. And then even if it, as in the case of Stephen, when he was stoned to death, then you go to be with the Lord and you would hear these words, well done, thou good and faithful servant, enter thou into the joy of the Lord. So really, if you look at it any which way, we win. We're on the winning side. And as the Bible
Well, that's
tells
my
us,
next question is that, and people ask about Trump's spirituality. I just know people that know him very well, and I've talked to him, and he doesn't do this separately with me. He knows, you know, that I'm a Christian. But Trump was raised a Christian. He didn't like fake preachers, the establishment. He's not a hypocrite. But the energy, he feels the spirit when he gets around Christians and evangelicals. That's why he's constantly wanting them around, because it's making his faith that much stronger, and you can feel God's spirit coming back into the world so strong right now. You were just talking about it. I was getting tears in my eyes because the energy is so powerful. I just really feel sorry for these Luciferians and devil worshippers that think they're getting power from their God, because, I mean, they're not. They have no idea how powerful God is. And it's just such a joke once you have discernment that anybody would choose the devil and not God.
It doesn't even make sense. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, on the inauguration morning, I, along with my wife, my son, my daughter-in-law, and then my son-in-law and daughter, 6 of us, were privileged to be in the private prayer service with 300 other people right before he would go then to the White House. And Alex, as we were sitting there, as they began to pray, it was like I saw the hand of God come back on America. And I saw them as they had the vice president stand and proclaim over him and pray. And then they said, Mr. President-elect, would you stand? I saw him bow his head. And I said, yes, God is doing a work in our country, that the plague is going to be stayed from off the land. And I believe that there's going to be another great spiritual awakening, like it was in the 1700s with Wesley and Whitefield and Peter Cartwright and Jonathan Edwards, like it was with Charles Finney in the 1800s, that God is going to shake America to the very foundation, the core, from the White House to every house, from sea to shining sea, from Maine to the Keys to San Diego to Seattle, across the great state of Alaska, the Hawaiian chain, even to the island nation of Guam, American Samoa, and Puerto Rico. God is not finished with America, and his hand is on this land. This has been the breadbasket for world missions for decades. Missionaries have been sent out from America to other nations to evangelize.
And that's why the enemy wanted to capture it. And let's expand on that, because they created their fake churches to demonize it, to try to destroy the spirit. But I was there an hour before it started because they were blocking people getting in, as you know, beating them up. And I started tweeting, he's going to announce that, we're accepting God back in. We want the birthright. We want that, and that God's in charge, not men. And I was tweeting it, and after his speech, an hour and a half later, the New York Times writer came over because he was watching me, and he wrote a piece about it, and he said, how did you tweet that? Did you have advanced this speech? And I said, no. I literally knew what was going to happen, and that the birthright, and that he was going to announce America's reborn January 20th. And it was the crazy, just like you said, I knew what and I tweeted it. I mean, the proofs, I tweeted tweets saying it, and then it happened, and the enemy was literally just blocks away, howling, screaming, rolling around on the ground, so angry. Why? Because it's spiritual. And then you look at the people that protest, they howl, they scream, they chant, we love Satan. Everywhere I go, their minions aren't even part of satanic cults. Women just start chanting it, and men, and it's like, and I thought first they were trying to freak Christians out, but this is what it's a spirit. So that was so powerful. Sorry, go ahead.
And even on the Hill, I mean, there's people that go to Bohemian Grove, as you know, and worship an owl. I mean, grown men worshiping an owl and cremating a baby in effigy. I mean, the fact of the matter that this thing goes way back, as you said earlier, even to ancient Egypt. So it's the light and darkness coming against each other, and it's a showdown with Elijah and the prophets of Baal. And so we have to stand up. If you remember the story when Elijah, they built the altar, and he told them, okay, you call on your God to answer by fire. And they cried from the morning till noon. And then they cried until they couldn't cry. They cut themselves with knives. And then Elijah said, okay, let's rebuild the altar. And then he said, the God who answers by fire, let him be God. And he prayed, and the fire came down from heaven. And I just believe with all my heart that the fire of God is upon America. And we're going to see the greatest awakening that's going to hit our universities, our schools, and even places of government. And we're going to see people coming back to God, that this is the final hour just before Jesus comes, that the greatest harvest of souls is going to come into the kingdom. And I believe this with all my heart. This is what we live for. And the other we'll take care of. But we need to mobilize everybody to shout it from the mountaintops, shout it from the rooftops. We're not going to hide what God does. We're not ashamed of the power of God. The Bible is full of it, miracles, signs, and wonders. And yes, there's other people out there that play with it, but I'm telling you right now, God has heard from heaven, and he's giving us a last-minute reprieve. and we need to do something. And, you know, I'm just going to say this. I know you take a lot of heat and flack, but your voice just pounding the airwaves all these years has woken up many people. And, you know, because I meet people that say, we listen to Alex, people get upset because you go over the top, but I go over the top. You know, when you get mad at something, you can't just sit there and talk just calmly. It must come with passion. And so I love your passion. And thank you for talking out and speaking out and shouting it, because there are people, they're listening, and people are listening in other countries.
Well, listen, I want to thank you and everybody else, because I know a lot of other pastors, you know, just like you talked about TBN and, you know, CBN, others, you know, being scared to put out what you're doing. But I mean, they're now just, I love how you said it 4 days ago, and then days after they come out and say they're doing it. You know, what you were told is true. They're planning it. We've got to raise the alarm. They're the extremist. I know it sounds extreme to repeat what they're saying they want to do secretly, but they're doing it, so we have to expose it. We're not the radicals. They're the radicals. Pastor, thank you so much for spending time with us. How do folks get in contact with you or watch or listen to your sermons or find out where which town you're coming to next?
Just revival.com is our website. And then I have a Rodney R. Brown YouTube channel. And they can follow the link also to our Facebook. We do much Facebook Live. So that's the way to get a hold of us.
All right, Pastor Rodney Howard Brown, please join us again very soon. Thank you, sir.
Anytime, Alex. Bless you.
There you go. Well, that's the kind of folks that, you know, are there meeting with Trump and talking to Trump, and that's what's going on right there. And he goes and meets with the senior congressman for 3 hours saying, yeah, they're getting ready to overthrow the president. Outside of law, that's what's going on. And now, 3 days after the pastor warns of it, Brennan climbs out from under a rock with Clapper at the Aspen Institute on TV to call for the overthrow. Owen Schroyer's here. I want to go to Jason, Natalie, and then who's been on the longest? Carlos. Megan hung up. Megan, sorry, I had that guest come on. So we'll get to your calls right now. But powerful information right there. And again, they tell us, oh, don't be Christian or don't talk about your religion. The globalists are trying to exterminate Christianity worldwide. They're allied with Islam because they hate real Christianity. They hate the spirit of it because it's not this crippling, evil, twisted spirit that they worship.
Well, the truth of the matter is the people that protest Trump don't understand the Trump movement. They've been lied to about the Trump movement. They've been lied to about what President Trump represents. So that's why they pick up their signs and they go protest. I mean, I'm sitting here today. Sarah Huckabee Sanders just gave a press briefing where she said, I'm the first woman that's also a mother to hold the position of the White House press secretary. How dare Donald Trump, the misogynist, put this mother to work? I mean, I can't believe it, standing right there beside Betsy DeVos. So, but they'll pick up their signs and they'll go protest tomorrow, Alex, that Trump is a misogynist, because that's what they do, because that's what the media told them to do. I don't know what President Trump can do to unite America. He's done a good job uniting Christians behind him, obviously. I think the evangelical aspect of America is behind President Trump. But I don't know if there's anything he can possibly do to extend an olive branch.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm here in Hawaii, and most of the natives I talk to are awake and, you know, understand Trump. People know it's all a scam, the way the whole media is demonizing him, that people understand what's going on. Let's go to a phone call. Jason in Germany, thanks for holding. Then Natalie in Australia. Jason, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, good to be back on with you. Just real quick, you know, the reason why I am here in Germany, aside from marrying the love of my life, is that I did work for the military in the capacity as a civilian for 4 years. I really got to know the families really well and developed a real deep love and appreciation for these people. And I really think that we need to do everything within our power to keep what's developing in the United States from going into some kind of a hot civil war or any other kind of civil emergency, collapse of civilization type of thing. I really do.
Well, these people are so crazy that they're openly trying to start it. And I mean, I got to say, Trump needs to just go ahead and cut the cancer out. I mean, they're saying kill everybody, kill cops, murder Trump, kill everybody, shut down free press. We need to just announce it, declare their enemies, and start indicting all of them. We have to move on them right now. And Trump's got the backing now. If he waits, they're gonna kill him.
Yeah, I'd like to know what we can actually do to help him out rather than just making phone calls and protesting.
Well, you need to get a huge buzz going on C-SPAN, talk radio, call Congress, call all over, and just point out the martial law, the fact that they're wanting to kill the president, the fact that they work for multinationals that have hijacked the country. And I think just hammer that truth that they're illegitimate and they're a fraud, that they're trying to block prosperity and freedom and have double-crossed us with radical Orthodox Islam. and that the globalists are trying to collapse Europe and the United States. Europe's probably already lost. So this is World War III, folks. It's a new kind of war, and we've just got to let folks know how high the stakes are, and then we've got to get out there in the streets and educate everybody. All right, I was going to go back to your calls. I am right here. Carlos, Sean, Natalie, and Greg here in just a moment. Owen Schroyer is my guest. I didn't ask who's hosting the fourth hour. Sorry, I'm on quasi-workcation here. We're going to be airing big Cernovich. Oh, well, he always has big breaking news. He'll know a lot about what's going on with his sources. Roger Stone, I mean, direct high-level White House stuff. I mean, the stuff you learned yesterday from Roger Stone is directly what's happening. Trump knows they're moving against him, and he just can't believe nobody will stand up. But again, a lot of people want to hedge their bets. People have been so comfortable in D.C., even if they're patriots overall, they're just not folks for action because this country's never faced a bunch of crazy Democrats, offshore banks, and Lloyd Blankfein making fun of our infrastructure and saying, I'm moving everything to China, screw you, America, in tweets. I mean, it's just these people are such a-holes. I mean, I'm sorry, they are just jerks out to get us, man. They're evil. And it just comes down to that. They're allied with everything you can imagine that's bad news. So please financially support us. We got great products everybody needs, so it's a win-win. We're going to end this free shipping this week when the new month starts, and we've never had Super Female for more than 35% off. It's 57% off. That's right at Lost Leader because the Super Male's almost sold out. It's at full price now. Super Female sells decent, but nothing like Super Male, and it works so good in women, and it works in men. The formula is just a little bit different, tailored for women, but it works great for men because we're so similar. So some guys like it better. I, quite frankly, think it's let's just say libido-wise, it's got a little bit more of several of the ingredients that are cold-pressed. Anthroplex is great. It's a dry version of it, but it's 57% off. Silver Bullet, 66% off. Again, never done that. Strawberry Caveman, new flavor. You know, the great bone broth, turmeric, chaga, you name it. Bee pollen, 25% off. Caveman Combo with the chocolate, 25% off, too. Super Silver Combo with the electric toothbrush that's got foil silver in it, the Silver Bullet, and the silver toothpaste, Super Blue, 50% off. That's amazing. Pro Pure Traveler, 30% off. That's the Alexa Pure Breeze. Air Filter, 25% off. 5 Mineral Fusion, 33% off. Knockout, 50% off. Prostate Guard, 33% off. Myco ZX to the next equation and probiotics for the yeast and stuff. That's 46% off. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And don't forget DNA Force as well. That is selling out. DNA Force, I forgot to tell you, is about to sell out. It may be months until we get more in. You know, it's been sold out for 6 months or 5.5 months. So DNA Force discounted. I don't know, I'm going to discount it next time. So take advantage of that flagship product. Okay, here we go. Let's go to Natalie in Australia. Natalie, thank you for holding so patiently from Australia. I really appreciate that. Go ahead.
Alex, I just want to say a few quick points and then something about nascent iodine. President Trump, could you surround yourself with loyal men like Alan West? He is a great guy. And
yes.
If you can, arrest Soros for treason. That will cut off most of the money from the left that pays for the protesters and the left in general. And Petey, my cat, he had a couple of years ago, he had flames around his eyes, and I gave him nascent iodine, and that gave me 2 more years with him, and I want to thank you for your product, and I think it's a wonderful product. It does work. And, the elite can have Tasmania. That's full of spiders and everything. They can live there all they want. It's a boring place. And just thank you, guys. I know I was going to say something else, but I'm a little nervous, so thank you, guys.
Well, notice how the elite are putting themselves in their own super remote prisons. And it just shows they took over the world, but now they're not safe anywhere. And they want to bring from failed Muslim states tens of millions of people that wipe their butts with their hands, man. I mean, it's like, what level have we reached here of the globalist? And meanwhile, Zuckerberg's trying to move to Kauai. The locals don't want him and are trying to run him out. What do you make of that?
Good on them for standing up for themselves. God bless them all.
Well, Natalie, I want to ask you one question about Australia. So we're back in 70 seconds. Stay there. Don't hang up. I'm going to go to Greg, Carlos, Sean, and others. We're going to find out what Cernovich has got. He's always got key intel. Hell, even admitting foreign affairs and stuff that he knows where they eat lunch and what they're doing. They're wondering where he gets his intel. Gee, where do you think? We'll be right back. You guys want to fight?
Thank
you got one.
Listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
All right, Natalie's in Australia. Natalie, I know your new prime minister isn't perfect or whatever, but I know you guys started cutting back your carbon taxes, reportedly not just completely flooding your country with folks that won't assimilate. I mean, how would you say, as an Australian overall, the awakening's happening there? Because it looks like you guys have turned the corner a little bit, or am I wrong?
Well, my dad was complaining about $1 billion power plant that was created, and it was created not by getting permission from the Australian people, but people are awake, and they do speak their mind, and that's just to put it nicely. And, yeah, we are aware, so...
Well, that's good, because all over the world there's awakenings happening. And again, we're not saying Trump's the end-all, be-all. He's just trying to return power back to the people, and they're panicking. I'm just concerned because I don't think the globalists realize they're in trouble, but they're still arrogant, and they still keep doing stuff and failing as they escalate. And then now all they've got left is killing Trump. And I don't see, Brennan's up there saying, let's all be nice once this happens and just nobody resist. Let's not tear up the country. What does he think's going to happen? I mean, he's crazy. What do you think?
Well, all I know is without America, Australia would not be in a good situation with China or anything like that. Because I've heard stories before, like people in the army and that China would love Australia. So America, stay strong.
Oh, hell, China's already got almost exactly. The big companies have come in where there's basically military labor, and they do like most of your mining now. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Natalie. We're going to come back and talk a little bit with Cernovich and get to Carlos, Sean, Greg, and others, because Cernovich loves taking calls. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. We'll talk about implementing COG with Sean. Carlos, Clapper lied to Congress. Yeah, we've got the clip. We ought to pull it up. Greg, we need for prayer. And then also I want to play the compilation again of all the talk of martial law and coup. The good news is we exposed it. Now they're having to admit it. Because see, they don't want us to expose it and have a consensus it's wrong. They're being forced to admit they're planning it now because we're exposing it. And I told you, the victory is getting everybody to talk about it. You did that, listeners. Now it's everywhere in Congress, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, everywhere. We forced it through again. You did it. You get the credit. God bless you. Owen Schroyer, comments on what we've been doing.
Well, we're trying to change the narrative, Alex. We're the media now. I mean, people want to look at you and they want to say Alex Jones is crazy. They want to make fun of you on Comedy Central. But the truth is, that's their psychological reaction of denial. They can't accept the fact that you can control the narrative now. They can't accept the fact that InfoWarriors can control the narrative, that InfoWarriors can decide the results of a presidential election. That scares them. They're in denial of that. So they point at you, they laugh, and ultimately they're only going to hurt themselves, because instead of trying to recapture the hearts and minds of America that you've stolen from them, that they stole originally, they're just trying to point and laugh at you. So that's fine. They can point and laugh at you. We're going to continue to change hearts and minds, and we're going to continue to get our agenda through. And it's tough for Donald Trump. I think that he's dealing with people that maybe they're scared, maybe they're getting death threatened right now. But I think
we know
that,
I mean, they're in the news saying kill his cabinet. I mean, the death threats are a given.
I'll be interesting to hear what Mike Cernovich wants to talk about here coming up in just a couple minutes, especially considering all of the double standards that we're seeing out of liberals. It's hilarious. They don't care about Boy Scouts or the military until Trump actually does something about it. Now all of a sudden they care about the Boy Scouts. Now all of a sudden they care about the military. You've got the Obamacare
now they're
vote.
calling the Boy Scouts racist and fascist. I mean, it's total race-baiting garbage. They're a total joke. And the good news is they're so arrogant, they're keeping Pelosi and Schumer and Hillary as the leadership.
And look at Pelosi.
We're going to go to break.
Alex, look at Pelosi. She said she's never heard of Imran Awan. This woman lied, said she never heard of Imran Awan. He handled her iPad. It was in the WikiLeaks. This woman is a known liar.
Oh, really? Nancy Pelosi's a liar? Owen Schroyer, I tell you. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. And Mike Cernovich is coming up with your phone calls and more. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, wanted to hand the baton to the one, the only Mike Cernovich, who coming up in early September is going to start hosting his own transmission with, of course, Owen Schroyer. That is coming up. That kicks off in early September, but here he is once a week hosting an hour. I want to just get out of here and let him take over. I know we've got Carlos in Canada and Greg in Montana and Sean wants to talk about implementing COG from Oklahoma. Carol in Florida wants to talk about coup and the Senate Bill 722. Dr. Kelly, California, wants to talk about Senator and Congress. He's listening on 1490 AM, KOWI, or L. We got 2 affiliates there. That's in Santa Cruz. We got like 7 and 9. We got more. I think it's like 10 affiliates down in California. Show's really growing out there, so that's a blessing. Too bad the globalists have pretty much completely taken over California, but who knows? Just like the White House, maybe we can take it back. But going back now to the main issue, we have a major pastor coming out who met with Trump and met with senior members of Congress saying they've been told of a plan for martial law. Well, that's already in the news. Then we have Brennan coming out yesterday at the Aspen Institute with Clapper, former head of all intelligence, of the national security system. And then we've got Blitzer on there saying, well, you know, you got to impeach him, right? And he goes, no, we'll just remove him. A coup. So this is huge now to have them admit all this with a new Comedy Central show announced to come on after their main news program every day built around, quote, Alex Jones. And the comedian says he's going to play Alex Jones. And what that means is dress up in KK outfits and stuff and say things I never said, KKK stuff. And that's what they already do. Or just say outrageous stuff. And then say that's what Alex Jones does, then point at me and laugh at the straw man, which is great. That'll just send us more listeners that actually find out what we're actually doing. But they know that that actually gets them ratings, just imitating us and then twisting it. So they plan to destroy who we are by posing as us and then going out and committing cultural crimes while hiding behind the thing that they're just actors, they're just comedians with a bunch of writers in New York City and L.A. sitting there writing garbage to then put it into an actor's mouth who's posing as a fake newsman who's posing as me. So Tuck Buckford wasn't enough. Now you're going to get 5 nights a week attacking yours truly, and they even admit it's supposed to be Alex Jones. So it's not enough to have all these movies they've made and Homeland and all these shows. Now I'm so evil, I've got to be demonized nightly on a rated Comedy Central show because nobody watches the news anymore. Nobody watches mainstream news. So now they're going totally to comedy. And you go to CNN, most of the videos you see on there many times are Saturday Night Live or Colbert, again, misrepresenting. Remember Alec Baldwin? I don't like black people. I'm Donald Trump. I learned to be racist from Alex Jones. Infowars, it's a show. I learned it from him. We're racist. Black people aren't humans. I mean, that I never said that. Alec Baldwin played Trump and then said, Alex Jones told me. Alex Jones told me. And then that's the new thing. It shows the desperateness of these people. But it's better. Google, Facebook, Twitter start to censor us, start to block us, start to try to stop you from getting our information and admit they are. And Cernovich gets the secret documents and Google admits they're real, where they spent millions hiring people to delist us on Google. But when they got exposed, we went back to the top because Google had to pull it because it's racketeering. It's criminal. It's a trust operation. It's a monopoly operation. They've just been fined hundreds of millions for that. So they attacked us. We fought back. They had to back off. But it's happening. But Google isn't half as bad as Facebook or Twitter. And they go, oh, well, that's their own platforms. No, they advertise it as open for political discussion. Then they censor us. Then they have bots going around acting like they're liberals, attacking everybody to make us feel demoralized and alone. It's a hoax. But again, they want to silence us, then build facsimiles of who we are, then build straw men, and then demonize the straw man in the public. Gag the real person. The body snatcher gets rid of the real person before it copies itself. Okay? Well, that's not happening. They created Glenn Beck to doppelgang. Didn't work. He went down, not me, because you couldn't get rid of me. So thanks for the prayers. Thanks for the support. It's all of you making this possible. But your investment spreading the word at Infowars, your investment supporting us, your investment defending us, your investment getting past the peer pressure and the mind control is delivering with President Trump, delivering in the huge Freedom Caucus, close to taking over the House from the Republicans. We've taken it from the Democrats. Now in 2018, we're going to take it from the neocons and the rhinos. We're this close to really restoring the Republic and having a true future, thanks to all of you. So stop thanking me. Stop thanking Cernovich. We're in this with you. It's a fight. We know the enemy hates us. What do you expect us to do? Roll over to a bunch of scum that hate our guts and want to make us slaves? Okay, this is normal behavior. They take normal behavior and make it look weird. Let them have a bunch of Comedy Central. We're not in 3rd grade where you laugh at somebody and they go cry to mommy. We love scum hating us. We love scum attacking us. We love it. We absolutely love it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're done playing games, and we're not backing down, so that's the end of it. But we've got free shipping until the end of the month. Just a few days left, 4 or 5 days left. And we've got 57% off of Super Female Vitality. Never done that. Silver Bullet, 66% off. Never done that, because I just want everybody to have this and try it. Caveman, strawberries in, 25% off. 25% off on the chocolate. Caveman bone broth. Silver special package with the electric toothbrush impregnated with silver, the colloidal silver bullet, and the toothpaste super blue, fluoride free with iodine and colloidal silver. That's 50% off. Pro Pure, amazing traveler, gravity fed, blows away much of the competition. The very best is Pro Pure and Alexa Pure. They're apples and oranges, but all the other stuff's nothing compared to those. It's the best unit, 30% off, $132. People are selling other stainless steel systems for $250 that are basically aren't even as good as this unit. $132, nobody can top it. Pro Pure Traveler, Alexa Pure Breeze, $219 is a great deal. Comparable stuff's $400 to $600. The price has gone down. It used to be like $800 for comparable just a few years ago. It's $149. Nobody can top that. Vitamin Mineral Fusion, 33% off. Knockout, 50% off. Prostiguard, 33% off. Myco ZX, 46% off. DNA Force selling out. That's 20% off. Infowarslife.com or 888-253-3139. Take advantage of it all. Support the broadcast. Mike Cernovich, thank you for hosting. We're going to skip this break so you have more time here, and we're going to skip the break at the 50 so you get back the 6-7 minutes I've taken from you. We salute your work. I've seen your reach on Facebook go from 10 million a week to 35 million a week, despite the fact they're trying to censor you. That's on Facebook, what we do every week now. So we want to salute Mike Cernovich and all the work he's doing. To see your explosion is absolutely vitriolic. So we salute you, Mike Cernovich. Mike, take over, but what do you make of the open martial law coup plans? We forced it out in the open, another devastating blow to the enemy. They can't organize it in secret anymore. We've savaged them, Cernovich, and we're going to push their timetable up, and they're going to make a move, and they're going to fail, and we're going to arrest all of their asses. And after they're absolutely convicted, we're going to hang their asses high. Mike Cernovich, take over.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing time, Alex. We always have a lot of great news. Of course, Scaramucci, as I said and as you said, it has been a tremendous asset already to the Trump administration. He went on the record today contradicting H.R. McMaster and admitted what we knew, which is that McMaster has Obama holdovers. The Obama holdovers are leaking to the media. So if you'll remember, this is a very, very important development, and I'll explain why. Scaramucci, or Mooch, as people affectionately refer to him as, who's a self-made billionaire, by the way, and yet people, of course, hate on him. They hate success. It's amazing. So he went on today and said that the Obama holdovers are leaking to the media. Well, if you go back a week or two ago, H.R. McMaster held a town hall meeting, and this is proof. Eli Lake and Bloomberg said it, therefore it has to be true, because as you know, I mean, if you and I say it isn't true, but if Bloomberg, if it's in Bloomberg, then it must be true, because even though it takes them weeks to catch up to us, McMaster held a town hall where he said there's no such thing as an Obama holdover. So today, this is a very subtle thing. Very few people understand this, and almost nobody in the media does, because they don't have my information and my sources and everything. This is a sign that they know McMaster is the problem. McMaster is definitely on his way out. So McMaster had held a town hall to address Mike Cernovich's tweets. This is a fact. I didn't make this up. People go, oh, Cernovich, you self-promote or whatever. This is Eli Lake, who went on to a podcast and called me a conspiracy theorist. So Eli Lake is definitely not a friend of mine. He's not trying to do me any favors. And he said that at a town hall, H.R. McMaster said there's no such thing as an Obama holdover. What a joke, right? So here's the latest news on McMaster. As of this is breaking news. Nobody has this yet. Nobody knows this. This is an Infowars exclusive. You're only going to get that information here with me. McMaster is bringing in 2 people who worked for, I kid you not, Ben Rhodes. McMaster is bringing in 2 holdovers from the Obama administration, 2 political appointees, 2 Ben Rhodes loyalists into the NSC. That's what H.R. McMaster is doing. And fortunately, you know, Sean Spicer loved it. Sean Spicer leaked to the media all the time. That's something that I never made public before, because then, you know, he would try to blacklist me from coming to the White House press briefings and everything. So I had to be careful with Spicer. Thank God that he's out now. I can actually tell the truth about what an incompetent guy that was, and how he was sabotaging the administration, how he's leaking the media, how he and Reince Priebus they killed the war room idea. A lot of people didn't know this, but there was going to be a war room with actual heavy hitters getting content out, getting the media message out. Spicer, Reince, McMaster, a few other people within the comms team, they killed the war room. They said, oh, you're going to politicize the community. I kid you not. I kid you not. This is why they killed the war room. They go, you will be politicizing the communications team. Like, these are the incompetent or the saboteurs or the snakes. It doesn't even matter at this point. These are the kind of people Trump has to deal with, where they're saying, well, we wouldn't want our communications department and the most beleaguered and attacked administration in U.S. history to actually have a message, to actually have a rapid response team, to actually focus on getting out content. That would be politicizing the communications department, and we should never put. Who are these people, and how did they get in? And that guy, Michael Short, who just got fired, and then he goes, well, I quit. So actually, another funny story too there is Mooch leaked out that he was going to fire Short as a karma. It was like karmic retribution. So Short had been leaking. So Mooch leaked out that he was going to fire Short. So then Short found out that he was going to be fired when he opened up Politico, when people were texting him the article that he was going to get fired. It's the same way that Trump fired this gangster, you know, the way Trump fired Comey was giving a talk at the FBI and it flashes on Fox News. This is how you have to deal with these people. You're dealing with criminals like James Comey and the communications department. They're going to treat these people the way you treat people like that. You just end it. One day they show up and the key doesn't work. One day they show up to work and they get a Google alert for their name and they see Politico is reporting that they're going to be fired. That's what you have to do with all these people. We got to get Reince Priebus out of there. We definitely, it's a good start though. So Mooch knows what he's doing. He knows that McMaster is leaking and hiring leakers. And we know that Lindsey Graham is anti-Trump, and Virginia Boney, which is exclusive again for me, another leaker that we identified. So we're getting them. There's big progress. And that is why when they said Scaramucci was going to be head of comms, I was through the roof. I was so hyped. And then a lot of people, well, how could you like him? You know, he's rich. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? Are they brainwashed zombies? Nobody hates rich people. They hate thieves like Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton didn't get rich by providing entrepreneurial value to the world. Bill Clinton didn't become rich by providing entrepreneurial value to the world. Barack Obama is not becoming rich by giving value to the world. These are not intellectuals. They aren't job creators. What they do is they use their influence and their positions and their power for corruption. That is what they do. So we have no problem with people actually like if Goldman Sachs hadn't ripped people off in the stock market crash, I'd have no problem with Goldman Sachs. But as we know, they stole from the American public. They looted the public, and they destroyed a lot of lives. And they'd better hope the stock market stays up, because it isn't going to be good for them if they crash the market again or they're too reckless again. It'll be bad. So we have great developments with Scaramucci. Finally, we have somebody in the White House who knows how to get a message out. Now, Scaramucci, too, the media loves him because he knows how to handle the media. So Mooch is a rare guy that can play both games, right? So I'm really good at one game. I'm really good at the social media game, direct to consumers, direct to readers, direct to viewers. So right now, of course, I'm live on the Real Alex Jones Show, which is amazing. They're running YouTube Live. They're running Periscope. They're on radio, terrestrial radio all over the world. I'm right now on Facebook Live with one phone. My Periscope is live on another iPad. You know, I need to get another camera set up so I can do YouTube Live. So I'm really good at reaching massive amounts of people directly and bypassing the media, but I'm not good at playing the traditional media game. And I'm getting better at it. Mooch is good at both. He knows how to reach the people, and he knows how to work with the traditional media people. So he's a rare talent, a once in a generation media talent. So Mooch, he's in there. And now there's finally Periscoping, right? That was a historic moment. They Periscope President Trump and Air Force One. We need more of that. We need fireside chats. We need the multiple, computers, phones, webcams, whatever you want to call it, streaming live. They're getting there, and they're trying. We have incredible momentum right now. Scaramucci even said that. Momentum. Trump referenced momentum. See, nobody how many people understand this and can connect these dots the way I can? They don't read books. They've never read The Art of the Deal. They've never read Trump's book, Think Big and Kick. We'll call it Butt because I think we're on the radio. We'll keep it family friendly. They don't know anything. They don't actually study his work. And there's incredible momentum right now, and both Trump and Scaramucci are momentum players. I actually got a message from the highest levels today. I can't say from who, obviously, but the highest level said, let your people know today, because they knew I was going on Alex Jones. They saw that. They monitor my Twitter religiously. McMaster does too. He reads it personally, and he doesn't like it. People overheard him screaming today about Cernovich's tweets. They literally, you could, I mean, if the media really told the truth, they don't tell the truth about Mike Cernovich, though, because they don't want me to look more influential as I actually am. They don't want to tell the truth about how much impact that we're having because they're trying to get me banned and everything. They'd rather do hit jobs. McMaster was heard screaming at the West Wing about Cernovich's tweets. Effing tweets, screaming. So McMaster is mad because I revealed that Mooch directly contradicted him. So Mooch went on Fox News today and said Obama holdovers are the leakers. But McMaster had said a week or two ago, there's no such thing as an Obama holdover. Now, the fake news media, because they're not intelligent people and they have goldfish memories, right? All they care, oh, well, Trump tweeted something today, let's forget everything happened. But I'm always a strategic player. And as a strategic player, I'm always thinking, well, what happened today and how does this move work with the other pieces on the board? So what Mooch did today was significant. What Mooch did was said, look, we know McMaster is the bad guy. We know he wants to bring in people who work for Ben Rhodes. We know who the leakers are, and HR, he better get his act together or he'll be out. And we're on his tail. So he's triggered. I've heard multiple, 10, 15, 20 people have told me that McMaster actually has a personal vendetta against me because I'm cyberbullying. He said I'm a bully. And you know who I'm bullying? You can't make this up. You can't make it up. I got to just pause and take a deep breath because it sounds so absurd, and yet it is not. It is true. Do you know who I'm bullying? I'm bullying Deep State. I kid you not. They said that it is unfair for me to target people in the CIA, people who are at the highest levels of government, people who are at the highest levels of intelligence. They said it's unfair for me to target them. They've been spying on us. They've been spying on us for decades. But when I publicly talk about what they're doing and how they're leaking and everything, then I'm just a big bully. And the media goes along with it. They're going, in foreign policy, oh yeah, Cernovich is being mean to these people. I mean, how do you bully a 3-star general? That's what I would like to know. How do you bully a 3-star general, a veteran of multiple? If McMaster isn't strong enough for me, if he's shook, maybe he should read Guerrilla Mindset or go to one of my seminars and learn how to check into the present moment, learn how to not be rattled and shook up all the time. Maybe he needs a mindset. Maybe I should do a Guerrilla Mindset training seminar I actually should, now that I think about it. McMaster, I know you're watching, buddy. I know you watch everything we do. I know what you're doing. You think you spy on me? That's what you think. I'll come in and give you a Guerrilla Mindset seminar, and I'll give you all the secrets. And then what'll happen is you'll no longer be a puppet for the globalists. You'll no longer be a puppet for the warmongers. you'll actually want to make the world a better place because you'll believe in yourself and you'll find inner peace and happiness and love and joy in your own heart. And then you're going to want to spread that into the world instead of trying to spread more chaos and destruction and murder to the world. McMaster also, too, nobody else had this before me, presented his plan for the Afghan troop surge. So there was a principals meeting today, or it was scheduled for today. These things get moved often. McMaster is still trying to get his troop surge going on. He really wants more troops in Afghanistan. He won't let it drop. Trump is very frustrated with him. So we got to keep the heat on McMaster. We got to keep the heat on. Share the links about McMaster. Get the message out about McMaster. Ben Rhodes should not be in the NSC. Ben Rhodes, actually, let's talk about Ben Rhodes in this next segment. He testified before the Senate, and that never got leaked. So we're going to go on break right now. The next segment, we're going to talk about Ben Rhodes, McMaster, and how Soros is controlling McMaster and is owning McMaster. We'll be back the next segment. Thanks for joining me back, everybody. If you're watching on Facebook Live, be sure to hit that like button and spread and share the links for all the Facebook Live viewers out there. Get those links out, get the like button. Let's get this trending. So let's talk about Ben Rhodes for a minute. And I sent a couple links to the production team, so they're so great, they'll pull that up. Ben Rhodes, he worked for Obama, lied to reporters. He actually was quoted on the record as saying that I can convince a 26-year-old at the Washington Post of anything. So he's an admitted liar, and he admitted that he conned them. But if you work at the Washington Post, you don't actually care if they lie to you. All you care about is harming freedom and harming liberty and harming the people who want to help. So for 8 years, Obama and Ben Rhodes had secret talks with Iran. We never heard about it. How is it that they were able to keep the Iran deal secret? Think about, again, let's connect some dots and let's talk about McMaster and why McMaster is right now the #1 greatest threat to national security in America is H.R. McMaster. You can quote that. You can tweet it out. You can clip that, the video footage. The #1 threat to national security in the United States of America is H.R. McMaster. Quote me on that. So McMaster has leaks every day coming out from Ben Rhodes' people. But there were no leaks about the Iran deal during the Obama administration. Ben Rhodes wasn't leaking anything. So what does that tell you? Well, Ben Rhodes testified before the Senate committee either yesterday or the day before that. Isn't that amazing that was never leaked? Isn't it amazing that nobody had advanced knowledge? So House Intelligence Committee met with Ben Rhodes. Nobody had that story. You know why? Favor trading. What they do is if you get a leak from Ben Rhodes or Ben Rhodes' people, it's like a code of silence. And that really goes to show you how corrupt the fake news media is, that there's this major code of silence, that they're going to protect Rhodes at all costs. So then the question would be, why does H.R. McMaster want to bring in 2 political appointees from the Obama administration who worked for Ben Rhodes? Because McMaster wants information leaked. He wants our national security secrets leaked. He wants to do anything he can to harm Trump, because who owns McMaster? Soros. George Soros, McMaster, Petraeus had a secret meeting at Bilderberg. I bet you nobody has that story yet. See, I have so many scoops out there that I just release them on air all the time. I don't even have time to write them all up. If I wrote up everything I knew, I wouldn't have any fingers left because I would be typing all day and my hands would quit working. There's so much to talk about all the time. That's how bad McMaster is and why we really have to get McMaster. We have to fire him. But we're going to take some calls. Carlos has been on the line for 2 hours. I know Alex. I'll hold him to this. Alex says if you're on hold for longer than an hour, you get a free T-shirt. So Carlos, even though I'm not the boss, that's the truth.
Carlos just hung up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Carlos. That's a bummer. So we'll take the next caller here. I don't have the screen right on right up right now. So we'll take Sean. How you doing, Sean?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well.
I was wanting to talk about the implementation of COG. I believe that plan is still moving forward. I don't think they ever dropped it. I think
what plan?
That Hillary was the plan to implement COG.
Okay, I don't know what
that Hillary
what's
was.
Is that an acronym? I'm not really sure what that acronym is.
To bring the deep state in the state of emergency.
Gotcha. Bring in the deep state.
I believe that Hillary was a patsy candidate. Because if you notice about Hillary's health right now, she's always on the verge of grim death, but she's not fumbling around dying every 2 seconds. And so I believe that they were possibly poisoning her, using her for a patsy to win the presidency, get in there, open the borders, use some executive orders, take the guns, and then they were going to kill her. And then have the martial law implemented because they had that from day one. I believe Trump getting in threw a wrench in there, and at first, they were in denial, that's not my president. And then after denial is frenzy, and then that's where you see the rioting and everything. And now I believe that they're trying they're getting their bearings back, and they're trying to re-implement the plan. If you notice, because he is completely enveloped, and I think that everyone, even like Jeff Sessions, who's been just totally weak on everything except for TPP, if you take away TPP, he looks like a Democrat. And I think that right now everyone should be really worried because even these people that Trump puts in, they're still getting pulled over to the other side. I think that Pence, where has he been? No one's heard anything about Pence pretty much since they've won the presidency. And so I kind of believe that he's just kind of hiding in the background to see what's going to happen. I really believe now that their plan is to try to assassinate Trump and carry out some form of false flag here on the states, and then implement martial law, which will open the door to bring in deep state. And once that happens, we're not going to get out from underneath of it. And then all hell's going to break loose. And the only way we're going to get out of it is not going to be pretty.
Okay, well, thank you for your call, sir. Okay, we have another caller. Carol, it looks like. Carol?
Carol. Hi.
Hey, how
You're
are you?
Amazed. I'm online.
Welcome.
Thank you. I am not sure this is true, but from what little I've looked at it, it seems very important. The coup of President Trump may be taking action by legislation. They have passed in the Senate, apparently not in the Congress, in the House yet, Senate Bill 722. And, in bills that they can name them one thing and have a lot of information, but they can add other stuff. The title of Senate Bill 722 is Countering Iran's Destabilization Activities Act of 2017. But in Title II portion of it, which is lots of words down, it also apparently takes over control of sanctions of Russia and takes over control of what the president can do by legislation. I need help with that. I'm not saying it's true absolutely. Just from what I've looked at, it looks very possible that while we're all excited about this other stuff, that the Congress may pass a bill that takes over a whole bunch of powers of President Trump by passing the bill. that's what like an 8-minute summary by Anonymous suggested. So I went and looked up the bill, and I'm looking at the legal parts of the bill going, you know, lots of words and lots of legalese, so I'm not sure, but it's already passed the Senate, and Anonymous was saying that it passed like 98-2, and so the House and the Senate may be taking things over by passing a law.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we'll definitely look into it. Thank you again for your call. Always good to hear from you. Thanks, Carol. Okay, yeah, appreciate the call. Yeah, we'll take the next caller. We'll take a few more. Yeah, that one, it's just a sanctions bill. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of things get spun way out of proportion. A sanctions bill was passed. It was bipartisan. I don't think it's a good idea. These sanctions never really work. But a lot of times people read way more into that stuff than it really is. It isn't stripping Trump of any of his presidency. I guess in theory, you're taking away some of his executive powers. It's a separation of powers issue. But there's a lot of hysteria, and unless I have a lot of evidence